What is up, Super Fam and Bro Vengers alike? I am Sensei Finito, aka Vane Sensei, and welcome to Marvel Bros, where we discuss all things Marvel and everything pop culture. And today we are going to be talking about the Wheel of Time, the Eye of the World, chapters 17 to 24. I am so excited to get into all of this amazing goodness tonight. I hope you guys are too. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And all of that good stuff. Whoa. If you guys haven't already, make sure you drop a like on the stream because it definitely helps out with everything we're trying to do around these parts. You can also follow us on social media at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with all things Marvel and everything pop culture. And you can follow me on social media to stay up to date with all my thoughts, theories, and opinions about whatever particular thing we may be partaking in. And then you already know we trying to get all those podcasts on there weekly about a little bit of everything. And you guys can actually probably expect the Wheel of Time, Wheelie Wednesday podcast stuff to probably go live next week. I'm hoping on all platforms. So from like the first season where me and Battery were watching the first season and reviewing those episodes, you guys will be able to hear all those reviews and thoughts from way back then to this season to all of these Wheel of Time book clubs will be on there as well. I'm still trying to think of what to call it and all that type of stuff. I wasn't just going to put it out on the Marvel Bros channel, but I feel like there's so much stuff that's already going to be on the Marvel Bros channel that I kind of want to just diversify with the podcast to where, you know, one podcast on here, one podcast on there, so on and so forth. So all the Wheel of Time stuff, it'll probably be called Watt Bros or something like that, Wheel of Time Bros, but I'm not sure. So I definitely appreciate all the love from everybody. I hope you guys have had a fantastic Wednesday, a wonderful Wednesday, a wonderful Wheelie Wednesday, that is. Hold on, let me grab my book. Okay, got my book. As you see, I got a new book back here. Look out for The Little Guy by none other than Scott Lang. Super excited to get into that as well. I think it's gonna be awesome. All right. So, man, we are going to be talking about chapters 17 through 24 today, and just to kind of, we'll jump into chat, but just to kind of talk about how I feel off rip, man, this book just keeps getting better and better with each segment that we take part of. It's kind of insane how amazing this book is, and I'm so excited that it seems like before we know it, we're going to be halfway through this book, and then before we know it, we're going to be done. And that's kind of insane, because I think there's about 50-something chapters, and we're already at 25, so I guess we are kind of halfway there right now. And I'm pumped. I can't wait to see where the rest of this goes for sure. Man, I'm hyped, yo. I'm hyped. I'm hyped about these chapters. They were really good. All of these chapters were really fantastic. And I feel like each of these chapters had so much in them, but also I don't feel like it was a lot in them at the same time. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but it kind of feels like the time that we spent in these chapters, it wasn't wasted, but it was kind of like, I don't want to say drawn out either, because those aren't the right words that I'm trying to use right here. It feels more like these chapters, the event that we were taking part in, it just was a very long event. You know what I mean? Like, each chapter was a entire scene taking place rather than multiple scenes kind of happening back to back. I mean, yeah, they kind of are multiple scenes happening back to back, but they aren't. I don't know. It just kind of, I don't know, it just worked for me. It didn't seem like it was super long either when going through it, and it was just like, oh wow. Like, it didn't feel like this was 5.5 hours or however long, you know, that reading segment is. It just felt really cool. So I'm hyped. I'm hyped. All right, let's jump into chat and see how you guys are feeling, and then we will get into our review and discussion a little bit more. If you guys don't know how we kind of not segment, but if how we do this today or how we do these, it's basically structured where we start off like we're starting off now, where we just kind of talk for a little while. We're gonna have our open discussion segment right now, where we will all talk and chat. You guys can talk about stuff, and we can all just kind of get all the giblies out. And then after that, we'll go into the overall review of how I feel about everything. And then we'll go by chapter and kind of go in depth a little bit more. I'll probably read some of the passages that I liked, maybe ask a couple questions, and then sometimes we listen to Rosamund Pike also read segments of the book as well. And probably today we're going to do that with the dream sequence. That's one thing that I've really liked that we've been doing, is kind of listening to those dream sequences and having Rosamund Pike read those. I think that's just been really, really dope. So I think I'm probably down to keep doing that, especially because I know those dream sequences are super powerful. I don't know how that's gonna end up going. We haven't got hit with no like crazy copyright strikes or nothing like that, because we've been using it within fair use, at least as far as I'm concerned. We have, and until they say something, I'll be like, yo, that is what it is, because we haven't listened to a lot of it. We've been using it to discuss further, and that's the way we're gonna keep doing it, type of vibe. So that's kind of the gist of what it's going to be like today, and I hope you guys are ready to get into it. I know some of you guys watch back on the replay. I'm really going to, all 2024, I'm really going to try my hardest to go back to these lives and put in timestamps. I'm just going to try. So if you guys can help me out with that, if I ever see timestamps in the comments, I'll always put them into the description box so it'll actually sync it up too. So I just wanted to say that now. You know what I mean? Even if y'all be like, even if you're in the chat right now and you say something right here or whatever, and then be like, yo, this is what it was, or whatever the case may be. So I guess I'm done rambling now. Let's jump into the chat and see how everybody is going on. Yo, LBF says hype. What's up with that, LBF? How you doing? I'm definitely hyped. I'm really hyped about this segment, my boy. I'll be having a good one. It's midnight here, so probably can't hang for too long, but we'll be back, of course. But we'll watch back, of course. Hey, I dig it, LBF. I definitely apologize for being super late today. I was definitely trying to finish the reading, and it's been very busy week starting off this new year. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been mad busy. But I think we're going to be back on track going into next. Well, we might be back on track. We're gonna have a little baby by the time we have our next Wheelie Wednesday. Me and Remy will have a little baby boy. So you feel me? That's gonna be what's going on by the time we get back. And if she allows it, I'll show you my little baby. He'll be right here. Hello, this is the little baby. And then we can get into it. Tomorrow, wait, what's today? Wednesday? Saturday, she's supposed to be getting induced and stuff for the little baby to be here, to be born. So yeah, next Wednesday, I see y'all with a little baby boy and my own little baby, just a little infant little baby. It will be his name day. What's up with it? Wanderlost. How y'all doing? Thanks. Don't actually know what they can be used for, but thank you. Hey, they can be used for a lot of different things. I'm trying to iron that out as well. I want there to be different things that are like able to be redeemed here on the channel. If it was possible, if like we were streaming on Twitch, it would be a lot easier to get a lot of that stuff happening, because Twitch has it like automatically integrated like with their platform where you can redeem certain things. So I'm just trying to figure out a good way to get that implemented within the chat as well, to where you guys can be like, yo, buy this or whatever. Because I know there's like, there's like RP things that you can do with it, in the form of like buying buy a beer, or roll some dice, or bet money against somebody to roll some dice or something like that. I know you can do all those type of things in chat. So I just got to get more honed in on all those things. What a coincidence. It's midnight here too. Seriously though, I did just get back from the West Coast. Oh, Nice. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm in the West Coast. Happy New Year to you as well, Marisu, and to everyone else in the chat. Big Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a good New Year's Eve, New Year's time, and a Christmas time and holidays. Definitely let me know how it was. And again, big Happy New Year's to everybody. Okay. Hello and what's up with it, Marisu? How you doing? Thanks, but I was somewhere farther north and much wetter than Falm. We doing 8 chapters? Are you planning on going till dawn or something? Well, Marisu, I didn't have you here last week, so I didn't know how many chapters we were supposed to do this week. I got nervous. So we're doing 8 chapters now. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, we doing 8 chapters? Hell yeah. You know you ready for it. Don't play. Hey, everyone. Are you reading along? Yo, I wish you was. Just here to support is crazy. I appreciate it, though. It is a pretty big commitment. Yeah, she was trying to get the book from the library, actually. But, like, the book that they gave her was the graphic novel, not the actual book. So she was like, welp. So she's just been kind of waiting for the book to come back into... I was about to say on sale. What? Just to, I guess to get returned type of vibe. I guess that's how it works at the library. Yo, I ain't been to the library since I was in like legit middle school. So, like, but yeah, she be in there. She be in the library. Her and the littles. Baby Sensei, thank you. I tried to put the book on hold at the library. Oh, damn. Well, look at that. Well, yeah, what she said. I guess if I would have just read the chat, I wouldn't have had to say all of that stuff, huh? Congrats to you and her and to the new edition of the family, and Happy New Year. Thanks for taking the time for book club. Yo, I love book club. It's always a vibe. It's always a vibe. Book club is always a vibe. And we be chilling, you know what I'm saying? We be big chilling. She I don't even know how she doing awake right now. Like, we ain't even gonna talk about it. Sensei doesn't share books. LOL. She doesn't like to read physical books. She wants it on an iPad anyway. That's really what it is. She wanted it on the iPad. Don't get me started. She been reading the same book for 9 months. Half of her pregnancy, she been reading the same book. I've just been waiting to hear how it ends. Neither of us know. She just done left me on the cliffhanger with her. Like, what is this? What are we doing here? I keep trying to get her to be on the show. She be like, oh no, I gotta do my eyebrows. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get her on here one day. I'm telling y'all. I had her start reading. She actually did start reading Mistborn. That's what she started reading. She had it on. I think she had that on the iPad, and she was really liking it. But then it was like, it just also went into the she's a big do not finish her, you know, when it comes to books and stuff. She'd be like, you know what, I'm chilling. She likes to sit quietly and just meditate like Shifu. All right. But going into the chapters tonight, man, I really appreciated all of them. They were super dope. They were really dope. I wasn't like I think last week's I had even said that they were a little slower, but it was still filled with a lot of information. And I feel like going into this week, it was filled with a lot of information, and it was also action packed, but it was also paced a little bit slower to where we got to get a lot of world building done, and we got to find out about a lot of new characters were introduced as well in this segment that I was just super mind blown to like see happening. I was like, oh my God. Like, I feel like even though this was a very long segment, it was just such a good one because we got to cover so many different things for so many different characters. And I didn't expect to be where we were by the time it finished. Week after week, I am just reaffirmed with what you guys said as to the show does a really good job of adapting the entirety of the stories rather than just trying to adapt one part of the book. I can see how, like, the more and more we get further into this book and the more I read, uh, I can see how much we actually get to, like, how much the shuffle button was really pressed when it comes to the show, right? Like, everything that's in the show, it's like they just kind of took it all and just went bloop on the first book. So everything kind of happens out of order, but at the same time it's still happening in order. And I like that there's certain mysteries in the book that were not mysteries in the show, because me, I'm very vigilant with what's going on when reading and just overall, and even when watching the show. So that little part of me can't help but be like, oh snap, is that this, or is that that? Are they talking about the blight? Like, are they talking about the the little portal, or this or that? And so it was just really really fun. This was a fun This was a fun segment, because I was able to kind of like try to guess some things and theorize some things. Then I was like, oh wait, what does that mean? And of course, none other than Matt's dagger is also introduced in this amazing section. You know what I mean? And that was also really fun, and it was awesome. So I am very excited to get into the meat and potatoes when it comes to this next segment of the Wheel of Time that we're going to be talking about tonight, the Eye of the World, and that is chapters 17 through 24. So we're going to start at chapter 17 and then just kind of make our way downtown, walking fast. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. Okay. So let's see. Last week we talked about how much Nynaeve was kind of wilding, and this week she kind of continues on that path of straight tripping, but at the same time, I feel like we get to see her be a little more passive than aggressive, as she usually is, and I like that. I like seeing the different sides of Egwene, Nynaeve, and Moiraine as they kind of talk and discuss things together. So it was. Oops, let's take that out. Again, it was really. Excuse me. And we also get to see Matt, of course, be Matt to the fullest degree. I mean, Matt is literally Matt to the fullest degree, to where he's like taking them to these other places. He's getting them into all the shenanigans yet again. And even that, everything about this was different. I was really not prepared. So, let's get it started by talking about this part, right? The three young men from Emond's Field began clapping their hands with the first note of The Wind That Shakes the Willow, and they were not the only ones. It was a favorite in the Two Rivers and in Burlon too. It seemed here their voices even took up the words, and not so off key as for anyone to hush them. And this is something that I was like, when going through it, and I just wasn't ready for the song. I loved it. Let me see if I can actually bring this up, because I did want to bring it up and I forgot about this, because this happens very early on within chapter 17, when let me see.
Chapter 17. WoTchers. The second song was not so sad. In fact, in turn, that was followed by the fall of Aleth and Guidon King.
Yes, the Gleeman being the gleeriest, the most filled with glee men ever. And I really love seeing this Gleeman be a Gleeman, because it comes with so much world building and lore within the stories that he tells. And I think it's just a fantastic way for them to go about doing that. It was like such a good decision to go about the way of giving us these certain stories through him, and he'd be such like a integral part, I guess you can say, of the story. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
My love is gone, carried away by the wind that shakes the willow, and all the land is beaten hard by the wind that shakes the willow. But I will hold her close to me, in heart and dearest memory, and with her strength to steel my soul, her love to warm my heartstrings, I will stand where we once sang, though cold wind shakes the willow.
Man, it's just so fantastic and how immersive it is to kind of be able to, again, Rosamund Pike is just killing it, but to be able to truthfully get a different type of viewpoint of the people that live in this world, I just love it. I just love it. I love the fact that everyone is taking the advantage of it as well. And of course the subtleness of the of just what's going on in the background. Definitely a good job of giving us some build up. Everyone was dancing. Did I believe Nynaeve was dancing? If am I not right? If I'm not mistaken, Nynaeve was also dancing, and Egwene was dancing. Or was that later on? There was so much going on everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, the Scar-faced man was scowling at him. His step faltered and his cheeks grew hot. He had not meant to embarrass the fellow. He really did not think he had stared. He turned to meet his next partner and forgot all about the man. The next woman to dance into his arms was Nynaeve. He stumbled through the steps, almost tripping over his own feet, nearly stepping on hers. She danced gracefully enough to make up for his clumsiness, smiling the while. "I thought you were a better dancer," she laughed as they changed partners. He had only a moment to gather himself before they changed again, and he found himself dancing with Moiraine. If he had thought he was stumble-footed with the wisdom, it was nothing to how he felt with the Aes Sedai. She glided across the floor smoothly, her gown swirling about. He almost fell twice. She gave him a sympathetic smile, which made it worse rather than helping. It was relief to go to his next partner, even if it was Egwene. Like, man, the way that we get just to feel how Rand is kind of going through these situations, how he views everything that's occurring. I love it, man. And from the show, not to compare it to the show, but from the show, we obviously get everyone's point of view throughout the entirety of it. And I feel like being able to get Rand's point of view specifically through so many of these situations, it just makes a lot of things more clear, but at the same time, it leaves so much room for like, what's going on? And it's definitely awesome to be able to bridge these gaps. I just love it. I love it. I love it. Uh, I is wait. There was so much going on. I don't want to get ahead of myself, so that's why I'm trying to. Yeah, because they're dancing. They're making sure everyone has a room. Boom. Here we go. Uh, And then all of a sudden, we're here we are chilling, right? This is another part that I actually wanted to kind of hear a little bit of. And this is something that I really appreciate, okay? And I remember Brandon Sanderson actually talking about this when he was doing his course at BYU, and he had said that Robert Jordan does a good job of not starting the book like off with a action-packed event, but still obviously starting it with like not starting it with action right off the bat, but building up to that and having Rand see that figure in the distance and all these other things. It does a good job of building up, and that's how I feel about this entire like all of this section. Is it just does such a good job of giving us the natural build up to these very crazy stress inducing situations. um Let me see. Let me see. Uh. Oh, and I love me some land in these chapters. Like, oh my goodness, it's so fantastic. I love book land so much. I love like book land. Here we go. Here we go.
Lan looked at him sharply. There's something wrong tonight. Don't wander far. And remember, we leave whether you are awake enough to sit your saddle or have to be tied on.
Here we go. This is what
The
got
warder
me.
started
I
up the
was
stairs.
I was like
The
Heike
others
shook
followed
it at
him,
this
their
point.
jollity subdued. Rand stood in the hall alone. After having so many people around, it was lonely indeed. He hurried to the kitchen where a scullery maid was still on duty. She poured a mug of milk from a big stone crock for him. As he came out of the kitchen, drinking, a shape in dull black started toward him down the length of the hall, raising pale hands to toss back the dark cowl that had hidden the face
Bruh.
beneath. The cloak hung motionless as the figure moved, and the face, a man's face, but pasty white like a slug under a rock, and eyeless.
Bruh.
From oily
The
black hair to
okay.
puffy cheeks, was as smooth as an eggshell.
The way that the description is, oh no. The way that the description is just fantastic. It just makes me very like nervous, yes, but also extremely frightened.
I'm going to get some milk. I'm going to
Oops,
get...
I went back
The
way too
cloak hung
far.
motionless as the figure moved, and the face, a man's face, but pasty white like a slug under a rock, and eyeless. From oily
Oh my
black hair to puffy
god.
cheeks, was as
Like,
smooth as an eggshell. Rand choked, spraying milk.
what do you do at that
You are
moment when
one
you
of them,
see something
boy,
like that? Oh,
the Fade said. A hoarse whisper, like a file softly drawn across bone. Dropping the mug, Rand backed away. He wanted to run, but it was all he could do to make his feet take one halting step at a time. He could not break free of that eyeless face. His gaze was held, and his stomach curdled. He tried to shout for help, to scream. His throat was like stone.
oh,
Every ragged breath hurt. The Fade glided closer, in no hurry. Its strides had a sinuous, deadly grace like a viper, the resemblance emphasized by the overlapping black plates of armor down its chest.
oh my
Thin,
god.
bloodless lips curved in a cruel smile, made more mocking by the smooth, pale skin where eyes should have been.
Bro, literally, this description is everything and more. I think that this is probably one of the I know it's not done, but I do believe this is one of the best descriptions I've heard for something. Like,
The voice made Bornhold seem warm and soft. Where are the others? I know they are here. Speak, boy, and I will let you live. Rand's back struck wood, a wall or a door. He could not make himself look around to see which. Now that his feet had stopped, he could not make them start again. He shivered, watching the murdral slither nearer. His shaking grew harder with every slow stride. Speak, I say, or... From above came a quick clatter of boots, from the stairs up the hall, and the murdral cut off, whirling. The cloak hung still. For an instant, the Fade's head tilted, as if that eyeless gaze could pierce the wooden wall. A sword appeared in a dead white hand, blade as black as the cloak. The light in the hall seemed to grow dimmer in the presence of that blade. The pounding of boots grew louder, and the Fade spun back to Rand, an almost boneless movement. The black blade rose.
God.
Narrow lips peeled back in a rictus snarl.
Narrow
Trembling,
lips.
Rand knew he was going to die. Midnight steel flashed at his head and stopped. You belong to the great Lord of the Dark. The breathy grating of that voice sounded like fingernails scratched across a slate. You are his. Spinning in a black blur, the Fade darted down the hall away from Rand. The shadows at the end of the hall reached out and embraced it, and it was gone. Lan leaped.
The shadows at the end of the hall reached out and embraced it. Oh man, talk about wordsmith. It's just, the description is so fantastic. It's so fantastic, man. I am so immersed in every ounce of what's going on. And then Lan proceeds to, this is like the start of me appreciating Lan, like, even more and more and more and more as it goes on. Like it just, there's no chill, you know what I'm saying? There's no chill for what's going on, and Lan is like, holy shit, what's happening? Like, this is not things that are supposed to be occurring right now. Like, we are not supposed to be in these types of situations. You know what I mean? Like, man, I just wasn't prepared for this to happen. I'm so immersed into the prom night. You know what I mean? We're dancing with Nynaeve. We're dancing with Egwene. We're dancing with Moiraine. And it's like, oh, we're having a good old time. And the next thing you know, no, we're not having a good old time. Don't forget what the hell is going on, Rand and Reader. Like, y'all don't forget. Don't get all wrapped up in the beautiful storytelling and the beautiful music and the beautiful things that are occurring around you. Nah. No, don't have fun. This is not time for you to have fun. This isn't time for you to explore. You don't just to go find some honey cakes, my guy. Nah. You're running for your life. Yo. And as we will find out later, not from just a couple of Trollocs. No. You're running from them all. And man, holy hell, it was just such an amazing chapter. Such amazing segment. I can't stress it enough. And I love how Moiraine is like, not with any of the bullshit right here. Like, Matt's like, you think Trollocs might come here hunting for us? And Moiraine's like, Trollocs? Of course not. There are other things to fear, not the least of which is how we were found. Like, the Fade cannot believe we will remain here now that we know it has found us, but Master Fitch takes dark friends too lightly. He thinks of them as wretches hiding in the shadows, but dark friends can be found in the shops and the streets of every city, and in the highest councils too. The Midral may send them to see if he can learn of our plans. She turned on her heel and left Lan close behind her. Like, we are moving very quickly through the story and progressing through many, many things. And then right after this, what happens? Rand gets one of Min's many visions confirmed by Nynaeve joining them on the journey. Of course, Much and Fitch, you know what I mean? We got Much and Fitch, the boys, back in action. And then here we go again. Another thing that I really appreciated in the books, in this chapter, I should say, is the White Cloaks. The White Cloaks are freaking menaces, as we already know, but I mean, they're not playing. And something that I was very pleased with, and I think I've said this already about Moiraine, is how much of almost like a detective she is. I think we do a beautiful job of not constructing, but asserting that Moiraine knows what she's doing. And not only does she know what she's doing, she's being very nice to everyone around her. Like, she's like, yo, I don't have, like, all those moments where she's like, I don't have to tell you anything, but I am. So here are your answers, and now let's continue on, please. I love every single one of those moments. All of them. They're very fantastic. As I was saying, though, we meet with the White Cloaks. The riders held, the warder led the way. Oh, wait, no. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm too early. Maybe I was too early. No. Yeah. We get to because we're at the gate, right? Yeah, we get to the gate, and boom, here come the White Cloaks, bro. And they're not playing any games. Again, they're beautiful world building with just this. It's an event that just happens, and through this event, we get to know so much about the White Cloaks. Right here. The children of the light hold sway wherever men walk in the light. Only where the shadow of the dark one reigns are the children denied, yes? I love the manipulative term, like the manipulative language used here to be like, oh, no. If we're not allowed here, that must mean that this place is evil because we are children of light. So anywhere the light does not touch is obviously darkness, you know? Like, here, it's so obvious. Like, you're not saying that, are you? Because that would mean that we would have to kill you. You know, like, it's just such a subtle way to let us know that not only are these guys with the shit, but they are also full of shit, if you will. Sorry for cussing. But, bro, I just love that moment. I love these small moments. And then here we go. Again, with my boy Land being that guy in this part. The warder had not moved. In fact, he seemed completely at ease, but not many people could look at the children so uncaringly. Land's stony face could as well have been looking at a boot black. When the White Cloak spoke again, he sounded suspicious. Rand hunched lower in his saddle. A Drakkar. It had to be that, unless the man just named anything else. Anything he did not understand as the Dark One's handiwork. I love the way we are subtly giving everything. Travelers, Land replied calmly. Of no interest to you or yours. Everyone is of interest of the children of the light. Like, he was not letting it slide. Everything he had to say, he was on it. And then, of course, reassuring how vigilant the children of the light are. The governor does not know what happens under his nose. There is evil he does not see or smell, but the children of the light see. The watchmen looked at one another, their hands opened and closed as if regretting the spears left inside the guardhouse. The children of the light smell the evil. The white cloak's eyes turn to the people on horseback. We smell it and root it out wherever it is found. Rand tried to make himself even smaller, but the movement drew the man's attention. Oh, I love that. I love everything about the writing. I love everything about this form of writing. Do you guys enjoy writing like this? I don't know if this is something that happens very often, but I love writing to where you're able to, you're interjecting what people are doing and with the talking, you know? I think in a lot of other things that I have read, you don't get those subtle movements of, oh, you shift and then oh, and the person looks and they see that and then they talk about what just happened. You know, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, maybe, I mean, I know I don't read enough, but I just love how descriptive it is and how I feel like he's not nervous to break the flow of a conversation, because it's not really breaking the flow of conversation. It's leading to the next point in the conversation. In order for, Rand's doing this, Rand's going like this and doing that. And then he's noticing the things that Rand is doing. It's not just something that we're being told that Rand is doing. Like, no, it's an I don't know. It's painting a beautiful picture vividly. Like, that's what I love so much. What do we have here? Someone who does not wish to be seen? Like, oh, so it makes it feel like we're caught as well, right? I mean, that's what it did to me. It made me feel like I got caught with Rand. Like, we both got caught. Like, Rand tries to make himself even smaller, but the movement drew the man's attention. What do we have here? It's like, oh, what? Oh my God, he sees me. Someone who does not wish to be seen? What do you... The man brushed back the hood of his white cloak, and Rand was looking at the face he had known would be there. Bornhold nodded with obvious satisfaction. Clearly, Watchman, I have saved you from a great disaster. These are dark friends. You were about to help escape from the light. You should be reported to your governor for discipline, or perhaps given to the questioners to discover your true intent this night. Oh man, it's like, damn, we really got caught. What do we do now? And then here we go into another amazing, I guess, fight scene right here, and I just love this, right? You will take me to your camp, White Cloak. Moiraine's voice came suddenly from every direction at once. She had moved back into the night at the children's approach, and shadows clumped around her. You will question me? Darkness wreathed her as she took a step forward and made her seem taller. You will bar my way? Another step, and Rand gasped. She was taller, her head level with his, where he sat on the gray's back. Shadow clung about her face like thunderclouds. Aes Sedai! Bornhold shouted. 5 swords flashed from their sheaths. Die! The other 4 hesitated, but he slashed at her in the same motion that cleared his sword. Rand cried out as Moiraine's staff rose to intercept the blade. That delicately carved wood could not possibly stop hard swung steel. Sword met staff, and sparks sprayed in a fountain, a hissing roar hurling Bornhold back into his white-cloaked companions. All 5 went down in a heap. Tendrils of smoke rose from Bornhold's sword on the ground beside him, blade bent at a right angle where it had been melted almost in two. Bro, excuse me? Like, this is fire. This is amazing. This is peak. Like, I was like, oh, Like, oh my god. Like, legitimately. Oh, man. I love it. The description is fantastic. 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 You dare attack me? Moiraine's voice roared like a whirlwind. Shadows spun in on her, draped her like a hooded cloak. She loomed as high as the town wall. Her eyes glared down, a giant staring at insects. Oh my gosh, bro. And then uh we fast forward a little bit, and here we go. Moiraine hurried to Aldib, stroking the white mare's nose once before she tucked her staff under the girth strap. Rand did not need to look this time to know there was not even a nick in the staff. You were taller than a giant, Gawain said breathlessly, shifting on Bella's back. No one else spoke, though Mat and Perrin edged their horses away from the Aes Sedai. Was I? Moiraine said absently as she swung into her saddle. I saw you, Egwene protested. The mind plays tricks in the night. The eye sees what is not there. Bruh, like, why are you doing me like this? Like, why are you gaslighting us, Moiraine? I don't understand. Like, why are you doing these things? Like, the gaslighting is insane. This is no time for games. No time for games indeed. What we gained as the stag and lion, we may have not lost here. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, come on, let's go. You're right. There is no time for games, so I don't have time to answer every single one of your damn questions. Let's get a move on. Like, what? What? Come on. That is awesome. Give me so much more of that, please. uh And then, of course, we have Moiraine being her Moiraine self and not giving a hot diddly damn about nobody else. You know, I mean, obviously, we know that the Aes Sedai cannot lie. But that don't mean she telling the truth still. You know, just because you can't lie don't mean you can't tell the truth. Just because you can't lie doesn't mean you have to tell the truth. That's what I meant to say. Excuse me. She's like, I warned him. He didn't take me serious. Like, bro, what? Yo, that's so hilarious. And then, you know, unfortunately, we got Much and Fitch probably coming to an end. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. No pun intended. No dad joke taxes on me because I didn't mean the pun. You know what I mean? The pun just happened. Yo, Much and Fitch coming to an end is actually crazy. Oh, you say that so easily, Moiraine. What about the people at the inn? People must be hurt, and the innkeeper has lost his livelihood because of you. For all your talk about walking in the light, you're ready to go on without sparing a thought for him. His trouble is because of you. Because of those three, Lan said angrily. The fire, the injured, the going on. All because of those three. The fact the price must be paid is proof that is worth paying. The Dark One wants those boys of yours, and anything he wants this badly, he must be kept from. Or would you rather let the Fade have them? Be at ease, Lan, Moiraine said. Be at ease, Wisdom. You think I can help Master Fitch and the people at the inn? Well, you're right. All right, here we go. Like, here we go. Moiraine about to put everybody in their place real quick. Like, I can go back by myself and give some help. Not too much, of course. That would draw attention to those I helped. Attention that they would not thank me for, especially with the children of the light in town. And that would leave only Land to protect the rest of you. He is very good, but it will take more than him if a Midral and a fist of Trollocs find you. Of course, we could all return, though I doubt I can get all of us back into Berlon unnoticed, and that would expose all of you to whomever set that fire, not to mention the White Cloaks. Which alternative would you choose, Wisdom, if you were I? Like, I would do something, and in all probability hand the Dark One his victory. Moiraine replied, like, damn! And she's so right, because that is exactly what would happen. I mean, Moiraine is the definition of do the means of the few match the means of the many. If they don't, then who gives a damn about the few? Like, that's definitely Moiraine's character in all, like 100%. Yeah. And that is chapter 17. Watchers and Hunters. I really enjoyed chapter 17. I enjoyed all of these chapters, but chapter 17, I think it was a really good way to start off this segment. Let's jump into chat and see how you guys felt about chapter 17. I think I said 16 that whole time, but I meant 17. My bad. This is an exciting section. Lots of milestones. Definitely a lot of milestones. And I think it was a perfect amount to kind of get in one segment. I'm still waiting to see Much and Fitch on the TV show. Yo, Much and Fitch need to have their own show for show. I imagine they have several side businesses. Much and Fitch's logging niches. Much and Fitch's horse and hitches. Much and Fitch's planting ditches. Nah, that's crazy. Lodging niches. Nah. This is insane. I think that might be. I want to put some dad joke tax on that, but I don't think that's a dad joke. I don't know what that is, but it feels like it needs to be taxed for some reason. But I don't know why, but I just feel like you should be taxed for this statement. All leading to Much and Fitch's hoard of riches. Alrighty. My guy just started dropping M&M bars or something. I can't wait to talk about the ghost. Yo, there was a ghost? Am I tripping? Yo, did I not notice that there was a ghost? That's so much better than Michael Kramer's version of the song. No offense, Michael. Yo, I just, like, literally when I was sitting there, I was like, and she started singing, I was like, oh shit, I'm teleported. I was waiting for this to happen. I remember the first time it happened in The Lord of the Rings. I was like, oh, this is magical. I don't think Michael sings. Rand sounds like a stressed middle schooler at a dance. Unfortunately, we don't get to see Bookland's butt. Other than that, he's perfect. Marty Sue. You know what? Guess what? I created just for you. I created a spicy tax because I knew it was going to be needed, yo. I knew the spicy tax was going to be needed. And look at you already coming through. I knew you were going to be the first one to get the spicy tax. I knew it. I just knew it. I knew it was going to happen. Oh, wait, no. Here we go. Marisu always saying something spicy. Spicy tax. All right. Madral are the creepiest of the fantasy. Wait. Madral are one of the creepiest fantasy monsters ever. Yo, facts. Super creepy. Like, the way that it was explained definitely made my skin crawl just a little teeny tiny tad. Like, not gonna lie to you. Like, whoa. Lan, you talk to a Trolloc, 10 chapters later. You talk to a Fade? Facts. Trollocs, Fades, and Dark Friends. Oh my. There you go. Very sus. The abrupt shifts from happy fun time to oh shit monsters are great tension builders. Yes. I love that. Like, I love it. It makes it so, yes, you just don't know what's going to happen next, and I love it. Next, he'll be going on Drakkar rides. That sounds fun. The white cloaks smell evil. I can buy that. Their cloaks might be laundered, but when was the last time they had a bath? Damn. Lan has the easy confidence of a person who knows deep in his bones that he is a wolf among chihuahuas. And he has to protect them all. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the worst part. Come on, G. Like, that's hilarious. I feel like reading these books made me more observant in real life. Oh, I could feel that. I could definitely feel that because, I mean, damn, you just get so much. You get so much just put out on a table for you. But you don't unless you're vigilant, you know? And I love that. The White Cloaks are like the dog that caught the car. They actually found a witch and had absolutely no idea what to do next. Yes, legitimately. Like, you spend all your time chasing the car and you finally get a car and you're like, wait a minute, this thing is bigger than me. It can drive. It you know what I mean? It's faster. It's making these crazy noises. What am I to do? What am I to do? I feel like the White Tower's PR department may have some things to say to Moiraine later after this one. I feel that. For real. I wanted to see Attack of the 50-foot Rosamund Pike in the show. That would have been lit. I am kind of like bummed that we didn't get to see the White Cloaks in this way, even though we kind of did in the season 2. But it's just like, damn, this is like, I really like what this is giving us. Like, the book is really good. Kaiju Moiraine is iconic. Yeah, I love that. Being a dad means no dad joke tax as part of your duties. That's hilarious. Nynaeve hates when Moiraine uses reason in an argument. She'd much rather have a fist fight. Wouldn't we all? No, I'm just playing. Yeah, reason sucks to people that don't like to reason. You know what I mean? They would definitely rather throw the dukes, you know? They would definitely rather throw hands at all times, for sure, rather than do anything else. And that's hilarious. All right, we're about to get into Chapter 18, the Camelin Road. But before we do, y'all already know what you need. You need a little snacky wacky.
Hi, my name is Dominique Pruitt, and I started Don's Bon Gourmet Popcorn LLC in the summer of 2021 to introduce delicious and unique flavored popcorn not found anywhere else in the world. Why, you ask? Because I make it in my home with love, just for you. We offer over 10 flavors and are continuously creating new flavors that can be customized to any color or taste for your next event, party, or fundraiser. So go find yourself to our website and find a bombastic flavor of popcorn at donsbombgourmetpopcorn.com, or you can also follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Don's Bomb Gourmet Popcorn.
All right. Let's get into Chapter 18, the Camelin Road. Whew. All right. All right. Um. Oh, another thing that I just kind of wanted to mention here is it's hilarious that Tom is just being drug along on this entire endeavor. It's like there I don't know how many times I forgot that Tom was there, and then you just remember that, oh yeah, they're freaking traveling with a bard. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but I would forget about him so many times. Like I would forget that he's like actually traveling with them actively, and then all of a sudden you just hear his name, like you just hear him again or you see him again, and you're like, oh yeah, my guy Tom is here with us, bro. He's rocking. We rock with Tom because Tom rocks with us, and I like that. I just like that. That's awesome to me. That I love it. I love it truly because it's happened multiple times where I'm like, oh shit, Tom is like here. He's here and he's here to make it happen. My guy. Okay. Let's see. And does Lan have like some super sight or something? Like am I unaware that Lan had like borderline superpowers? But one thing that I liked early on within chapter 18 is that Nynaeve quickly shows that she is there for a reason. That she knows what she's doing. She deserves to be this wisdom, you know? Flatwort tea and andalay root, Nynaeve was saying to Moiraine, are best for fatigue. They clear the head and dim the burn in tired muscles. I'm sure they do. The Aes Sedai murmured, giving Nynaeve a sidelong glance. Nynaeve's jaw tightened, but she continued in the same tone. Now, if you must go without sleep... No tea, Lance said sharply to Egwene. No fire. We can't see them yet. But they are back there somewhere, a fade or two, and they're Trollocs, and they know we are taking this road. No need to tell them exactly where we are. My boy Lan was definitely tripping. Have you seen a farm this morning? Or even the smoke from a chimney? You haven't, because it's all weird wilderness from Bear Lawn to White Bridge. And White Bridge is where we must cross the Arenelle. That is the only bridge spanning the Arenelle, south of Maradon in Saldera. He's like, bro, what are we doing? We got to get up out of here. Oh, Lan suddenly burst around the hill behind them at a gallop. He came abreast of Moiraine, reining in the stallion. At least three fists of Trollocs, each led by a halfman, maybe five. If you were close enough to see them, Egwene said worriedly, they could have seen you. They could be right on your heels. He was not seen. Nynaeve drew herself up as everyone looked at her. I have followed his trail, remember? Hush, Moiraine commanded. Lan is telling us there are perhaps 500 Trollocs behind us. Why are there so many Trollocs? Why are there so many Trollocs? Why are there 500 Trollocs? I Like, bro, so many. I know there was a shit ton in the show, but there was definitely not 500. I don't think we ever saw that many Trollocs at one time. I mean, obviously for budget reasons, and you know, it's enough to make you scared enough to see a couple of those creepy bastards, but still. A stunned silence followed. Then Lan spoke again. And they are closing the gap. They will be on us in an hour or less. Half to herself, the Aes Sedai said, if they had that many before, why were they not used at Eamon's Field? If they did not, how did they come here since? You see? And this is another thing that I love so much about the book, is that we are getting it to us as like as a secret passage almost, you know? In the show, it's just kind of like, oh, here are these portals that you have that you can use, obviously, and we know this. But in the book, it's like, what? How are they doing this? How is this happening? How is this occurring? How are we getting from point A to point B? I love it. And it's like, where are they leading us to? Because they're obviously leading us somewhere. What's happening? And here's another time where just Tom is just randomly just blood and ashes. Tom muttered. That's when I was like, oh shit, Tom's still here. Like, I keep forgetting my guy is here. Like what? We just went like 3 pages. And it's just like he just mutters small things every once in a while. Blood and ashes. We gotta get out of here. What's going on? It's like, yo, I just like, yeah, it just makes me laugh sometimes because I'll be like, damn, there's so much going on, and then randomly Tom just is like, oh shit. Like, it's like, oh my god, Tom. Oh no. You know what? Okay, this is a bad thing to say. But it kind of reminds me of, if you have seen the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's version, and they have the taxi driver dude with them the whole time, and then he dies, and they're like, oh shit, Josh was still with us? Like, that's what that I don't know, that's the vibe that I get every time he ran, because to me, it's just like, oh my god, like Tom, oh my goodness, yeah, you are here with us, running away from everything that's going on. Like, he's like the only person in the group that has something that has a very important purpose, but is not like heavily like looked at, I guess you can say. And I guess that's even why the show might have like not put him in there, is because I don't want to say it like that, but his part of this journey is not very formidable all the time. Like, he's not always talking. Someone is always saying something for sure, except for Tom. Like, he's just coming through every once in a while, like, oh, blood and ashes. Like, dear God. Like, insert random NPC comment here. It's really funny to me though. I love it too though. I love it because it's like, oh shit, Tom. And then he does later become, of course, he is important though. Like, I'm just kind of talking my mess, but still, because I started this, you know, praising him for being like the bard and giving us all these other things, and I do appreciate it. It's just funny to me that if he's not singing, he's just saying blood and ashes and kind of just like, oh shit, what's going on? It's really funny. And then he always gets put on hush mode by Moiraine. Like, it's just so like it seems like Lan and Moiraine are always being dumbass mean to him because he's the only adult that's there other than them, but he also is he's not clueless, but he perceives himself as to be clueless about the situations. So they're like, bruh, Tom, come on, bruv. We're not, come on, G. Don't ask us any questions. We already have to deal with the children. Don't be one of them. Like, bruh, why are you doing Tom like that? Leave him alone. He does not deserve that level of disrespect. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Wait. Okay. Very interesting to me, though, that a fistful equals 500. Because he said 3 fists of Trolloc, maybe 5, and then that equaled 500 Trollocs. So it's like, I'm definitely interested in knowing what these fists mean. Okay, here we go. Let's get back into it. Gawain's head swung. Wait, what's happening here? Oh, yeah. To the south are the hills and barns and Terran. There is a place the Trollocs will not go, and I think we all know where this is. No, she mentioned to the warder, and he put his head close to hers so their talk could not be overheard. The horns winded, and Rand's horse danced nervously. They're trying to frighten us, Tom growled, attempting to steady his mount. He sounded half angry and half as if the Trollocs were succeeding. They're trying to scare us until we panic and run. They'll have us then. Egwene's head swung with every blast of a horn, staring first ahead of them, then behind, as if looking for the first Trollocs. Rand wanted to do the same, but he tried to hide it. He moved Cloud closer to her. We go north, Moiraine said. Moiraine announced. As hard as Land pushed them, they were not getting farther on very quickly. They traveled 2 feet up or down for every one forward, and every foot was scrambling effort, and the horns were coming nearer. 2 miles, he thought, maybe less. After a time, Land began peering first one way, then the other, the hard plains of his face, as close to worry as Rand had seen them. Once the warder stood in his stirrups to stare back the way they had came. All Rand could see were trees. Land settled back into his saddle and unconsciously pushed back his cloak to clear his sword as he resumed searching the forest. There are Trollocs nearby. Blood and ashes, the Tom murmured. They topped another hill. The Madral seemed to hesitate as the humans appeared atop the hill, but in the next instant, it produced a sword with the black blade Rand remembered so queasily and waved it over its head. The line of Trollocs scrambled forward. Even before the Madral moved, Land's sword was in his hands. "Stay with me," he cried, and Mandar plunged down the slope toward the Trollocs. "For the 7 towers!" he shouted. Rand gulped and booted the Grey forward. The whole group of them streamed after the warder. He was surprised to find Tam's sword in his fist. Caught up by Land's cry, he found his own. Maintarin! Maintarin! Yo, so lit. Perrin took it up. Maintarin! Maintarin! But Matt shouted. Karayan Kadazar! Karayan Eliasande! Alessande! The Fade's head turned from the Trollocs to the riders charging toward him. The black sword froze over its head, and the opening of its cowl swiveled, searching among the oncoming horsemen. Then Lan was on the Madral. As the human folk fell on the Trolloc line, Warder's blade met black steel from the forges of Thankandar with a clang like a great bell, the toll echoing in the hollow, a flash of blue light filling the air like sheet lightning. Beast muzzled almost men swarmed. Oh my god. Like beast muzzled almost men swarmed around each of the humans, catch poles and hooks flailing. Only Lan and the Madral did they avoid. Those two fought in a clear circle, black horses matching step for step, swords matching stroke for stroke. The air flashed and pealed. Cloud rolled his eyes and screamed, rearing and flashing with his hooves at the snarling, sharp-toothed faces surrounding him. Why are we getting the point of view of a damn horse? Come on, son, let's go. Heavy bodies crowded shoulder to shoulder around him, digging his heels in ruthlessly. Rand forced the gray on regardless, swinging his sword with little of the skill Lan had tried to impart, hacking as if hewing wood. Egwene! Desperately he searched for her as he kicked the gray onward, slashing a path through the hairy bodies as though chopping undergrowth. Bruh, the description is absolutely magnificent. I'm there, I'm fighting, I have my swords, and we are ready to go forward. Like, bruh. Yo. Crazy how we really got the horse's point of view. Moiraine's white mare dashed and cut at the slightest touch of the Aes Sedai's hand on the reins. Her face was as hard as Lan's as her staff lashed out. Flame enveloped Trollocs, then burst with a roar that left mishapen forms unmoving on the ground. Nynaeve and Egwene rode close to the Aes Sedai with frantic urgency, teeth bared almost as fiercely as the Trollocs, belt knives in hand. Those short blades would be no use at all if a Trolloc came close. Rand tried to turn Cloud toward them, but the Grey had the bit in his teeth, screaming and kicking. Cloud struggled forward, however hard Rand tugged at the reins. Around the three women a space opened as Trollocs tried to flee from Moiraine's staff, but as they attempted to avoid her, she sought them out. Fires roared, and the Trollocs howled in rage and fury. Above roar and howl crashed the Trollocs of the warder's sword. Crashed the tolling of the warder's sword against the Midrals. The air flared blue around them, flared again. A noose on the end of a pole swept at Rand's head with an awkward slash. He cut the catch pole in two, then hacked the goat-faced Trolloc that held it. A hook caught his shoulder from behind and tangled in his cloak, jerking him backwards. Frantically, almost losing his sword, he clutched the pommel of his saddle to keep his seat. Cloud twisted, shrieking. Rand hung onto saddle and reins desperately. He could feel himself slipping, inch by inch, falling to the hook. Cloud swung around for an instant. Rand saw Perrin, half out of his saddle, struggling to wrest his axe away from three Trollocs. They had him by one arm and both legs. Cloud plunged, and only Trollocs filled Rand's eyes. A Trolloc dashed and seized Rand's legs, forcing his foot free of the stirrup. Panting, he let go of the saddle to stab it. Instantly, the hook pulled him out of the saddle to Cloud's hindquarters. His death grip on the reins was all that kept him from the ground. Cloud reared and shrieked, and in the same moment, the pulling vanished. The Trolloc at his leg threw up its hands and screamed. All of the Trollocs screamed, a howl like all the dogs in the world gone mad. Around the humans, Trollocs fell writhing to the ground, tearing at their hair, clawing their own faces, all of the Trollocs biting at the ground, snapping at nothing, howling. Then Rand saw the Midral, still upright in the saddle of its madly dancing horse, black sword still flailing. It had no head. It won't die until nightfall. Tom shouted between heavy breaths over the unrelenting screams. Not completely. That is what I've heard anyway. Holy shit. Like, it was going down. Why, like, Oh my God. And the way they all just started shouting all their war cries of amazingness. I love it. I love it. I'm so ready for it all. I'm ready for it all. It's just going in. Like we just had our first battle. A full-blown fight. And we also learned that Trollocs, hello, Trollocs cannot survive without their Midral, which is something I like. But yeah, I like it. I like it. I like that. I mean, it makes sense to me as well. You know, hey, Trollocs equal. Trollocs are following this. If this is not here, then they equal dead. Like, bro. Oh, and then I love this. Those things you were Egwene, of course, because Egwene is just as much a detective as everyone else is, right? Those things you were shouting at the Trollocs, she stopped as if unsure how to proceed. What about them? Matt must have repeated that story 10 times. Oh, what about them? Oh, yeah. And badly, Tom put it. Tom put in. Here he goes. You know, here we go with Tom just saying random things here and there. Uh, uh, However he told it. We've all heard it any number of times. Besides, we had to shout something. I mean, that's what you do at a time like that. You heard Lan. And we have a right, Perrin added thoughtfully. Moiraine says we're all descended from those main Therin people. They fought the Dark One, and we're fighting the Dark One. That gives us a right. Oh my God. Yo, Perrin is my guy. I love me some Perrin, bruv. Even if he is, you know, a super Debbie Downer. And then she's like, I wasn't even talking about that. What were you saying, Matt? But it's like, I don't even remember. Well, I don't. It's all foggy. When you shouted, I thought just for a moment I understood you, but it's all gone now. Like, I love these subtle connections that they almost have. They're like right there on the edge of having that subtle connection, and I love it. It's just, it works so well. Karai and Kaldazar, Moiraine said. They all twisted to stare at her. Karai and Elisande, Elisande. For the honor of the Red Eagle, for the honor of the Rose of the Sun, the Rose of the Sun, the ancient war cry of Main Therin, and the war cry of its last king. Eldrine was called the Rose of the Sun. The blood of Aemon's line is still strong in the two rivers. The old blood still sings. Oh my God. We are bloody cooking, bro. We are cooking. We are cooking. We are super cooking. She heals everybody again. No. She takes the scent. I love how she like takes the scent and moves it off towards somewhere else. That was awesome. Suddenly, as they rode a little closer, he saw a tower. It was clearly a tower, not some kind of rock formation with an odd pointed dome on the top. A city, he said, and the city wall and the spires were guard towers on the wall. His jaw dropped. It had to be 10 times as big as Berlin, 50 times as big. Matt nodded. A city, he agreed. But what's a city doing in the middle of a forest like this, and without any people? I wonder what city it was, Egwene mused. I wonder what happened to it. I don't remember anything from Papa's map. It was called Eridol, Moiraine said. In the days of the Trolloc Wars, it was an ally of Main Theron. Staring at the massive walls, she seemed almost unaware of the others, even Nynaeve, who supported her in the saddle with a hand on her arm. Later, Edril died, and this place was called by another name. What name? Here, Lan said. He stopped Mandarb in front of what had once been a gate wide enough for 50 men to march through abreast. Only the broken vine-encrusted watchtowers remained of the gates. There was no sign. We enter here. Trolloc horns shrieked in the distance. Lan peered in the direction of the sound, then looked at the sun halfway down toward the treetops in the west. They have discovered it's a false trail. Come, we must find shelter before dark. What name? Matt asked again. Moiraine answered as they rode into the city. Shadar Logoth, she said. It's called Shadar Logoth. And that was the end of 18, yo. How are we feeling about chapter 18? Let's jump into the chat. Jump into the chat. Jump into the chat and see what's going on. What's going on? The show forgot Tom was there too is crazy, Marisu. Yo, that's hilarious. Lan does not have a tail at all. Like, he has no tail. NPC Tom, yo, I mean no disrespect, but come on, my guy. A fist of Trollocs is the number of Trollocs Kaiju Moiraine can hold in her fist? Nah, that's crazy. Lan is GOAT. Not only does he get the party to charge hundreds of Trollocs, but he single-handedly takes out a fade and a whole fist of Trollocs. Yo, like, my guy is that man. Like, he literally sparked everyone with the fires of just the fires of everything. Like, bro, they were like, let's go. Like, bro, yes, that was peak, bro. That was peak. Oh, man. Love that. Matt's battle cry is said in the origin short about Main Theron. Just FYI. The more you know. Yo, that's awesome, ACM. Yo, I had no idea. I definitely didn't know that. That's freaking amazing. I love that. Wait, I think I did know that. No, I did not know that. I'm lying. Thank you for informing me about that, for real. I love that. That's awesome. I wish I could go back and watch that, but I'm pretty sure they freaking deleted all of those, like some stingy bastards off of Prime Video. It's like, what is this? Whose idea was it to do that? Oh no, ACM, you can't get your bucks. Ad bugs. At official. I don't know if you changed your name recently. That's usually why it won't find someone, ACM. Sorry about that. I heard there was either a cut scene or a scene that never made it to filming of Lan fighting a Fade in season 1 just before Shadar Logoth. I wish they'd kept that. Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, because it was dope as hell seeing him fight that Fade in season 2 though, or his fighting. Didn't he fight like 3 Fades? And then the homie pulled up and started fighting with him. Like, oh my god, that shit was awesome. He took out like 3 Fades, and then OG had to come through and take out the last one. That shit was peak. Bro, that was amazing. Like, that was amazing. The horses didn't sign up for this. I cannot believe how we got to see the point of view of the horses. I feel like that is so unique to feel like the horse's fear in that situation, and all, like, that was all very unique. I appreciate that so much. Teeth bared with knives in hands reminds me of Nynaeve yelling at the Trolloc in episode 1. Yeah! Ah! Yeah. Or just Nynaeve when Moiraine walked inside the inn. Lan threw a plot grenade at the Trollocs. I guess he did throw a plot grenade, huh? He was not playing at all. Imagine the next group of travelers stumbling across 100 dead Trollocs. I would have no idea what to do. Like, legitimately, I would have no idea what to do. You know they're shitting bricks. Just pulling up, like, just going up over a hilltop, and you just see hundreds of Trollocs dead. Like, oh my god. My question is, if another Trolloc pulls up, if another Fade pulls up within, like, a distance, do they all just kind of like Bluetooth sync connect and just kind of wake up and just follow that guy now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Jordan being an actual combat vet makes those battle scenes have that extra bit of realism and terror. Yes, that is so true, because it's like like, even the focusing on the clashing of the swords igniting, like, at least a little bit, illuminating the nighttime. That's something that is just so, I just love that. And something akin to what would happen with, like, a gun firing in the night. You know, it would just, like, kind of have that same type of spark feeling, but it's almost like he just took the spark from the gun that would happen and put it to the swords instead. And I just really, I love it. For the honor of the Red Eagle, for the honor of the Rose of the Sun, like, yes. I thought it was cool that Egwene mentioned she could almost understand what Matt was saying in the old tongue. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. Okay, no idea what that last part of that means. Deep roots are not reached by the frost, but that sounds amazing. But I also love that. I love that they all kind of locked in together. Like, it was, again, it was like a channeling something even deeper. And I am all the way here for it. Yeah, I'm all the way here for it. You know, even giving some call back, but not call back, in this case, foreshadowing to what happens in season 2 when they're at that, you know, last stand before Rand is pronounced the dragon, of, you know, Matt being able to do that badass stuff. You know, it's like, I know things are coming, and it's just so awesome to see the way that they're building up to those things. It's dope. I could do a little jig. I'm so happy about it. Moiraine is probably slightly suspicious Matt is the one after that old blood display. Exactly. She was like, before, she was like, yeah, it's probably Rand, and then Matt comes out speaking in perfect old tongue. It's like, okay, what the hell is going on here? I'm confused. Like, I had no idea this is going on. Like, what's happening right now? Yeah, Moiraine was trying to figure out who's the dragon mystery all along with the show character. Whoa. Yeah, Moiraine was trying to figure out who's the dragon mystery along with the show watchers. Yes. I feel that was very much still translated. You can still see the origins in the season 1 extras on Prime. Oh, okay. So they just removed the maps and stuff then, or like the in-depth map, at least the interactive map. I thought I saw someone say that they removed the extras on Prime as well. I think it was Lauren at Unraveling the Pattern. I believe it was him that I saw say it on Twitter, but I might be mistaken. Horses are main characters. Tried to tell you. Yeah. You did try to tell me that, and I was like, what do you mean? And you was like, you'll see. Like, and I do see now. The horses are 100% main characters because I was like when I first was reading this, I was like, okay, bro, Cloud is the horse, right? You know, like there was multiple times when I was like, okay, this is the horse. This is not the people that we're talking about. Like Cloud isn't some person that I just forgot the name of. No, that's the name of the horse, right? Damn. Don't know where that came from. I really saw RJ's war experience and the way Rand was describing how hot he felt after the battle, even though it was freezing cold. Yeah, I like that. Definitely connecting to how that blood be boiling no matter what's going on in the heat of the moment. The heat of the moment is real, real. Uh, brush up on your Tolkien. Deep roots are not reached by the frost is from the same poem as my screen name. Okay, I got you. I'm following along, slowly but surely, yo, slowly but surely. I'm telling you, this stuff has me extra hype, man. I just love this book. It's so good. It's so good. They do such a good job. Like, such a good job. Excuse me. All right. That was chapter 18. No, wait. I think I just went into chapter 18. Yeah, that was chapter 18. Okay, now let's get into chapter 19. Oh, you know what? And I forgot to show the badass chapter icon. That's 18s that we were just going over. And here is 19. I guess I need to start actually paying attention because I am going to be putting this stuff out as podcasts. So I guess I got to kind of say what it is for the people that can't see it. So for anybody listening, chapter 18's icon is a skull. It's three squares. In the middle square, it is a skull that has kind of horns protruding out to both sides, a trident on one side, and a fist on the other. And it looks really badass, I'm not going to lie. They came when rode. And then chapter 19 is just two ravens. And chapter 19 is called Shadows Waiting. Let me see. Yeah. All right. So let's get into chapter 19. Let's get into chapter 19. Hold up. But before we do, no. Oh shit, where's it at? Oh, is it? Oh, it is here. All right, my bad. But before we do go further, I definitely want y'all to make sure, I want to make sure that I let y'all know that my other YouTube channel, the new YouTube channel for my book that I am creating, is out and active and live now. There's only one video up there and right now, but there will be more, and I'll be going live over there more. This year, I'll be doing a lot of stuff over there on that channel as well. Just, you know, talking about my book and kind of going in deeper with it. But you know, until I do go and do those things, you guys know there's already videos here on the channel, and then I'll also just be starting to talk about it a little bit more here and there. So definitely go and check out the new channel, Gifts TLG.
6 nations divided, how the gods envisioned the lands of Gafora, where nations must praise their gods individually. Inguvu, the god of power, Altira, the goddess of reality, Akasha, the goddess of space, Akaili, the goddess of mind, Nafasi, the god of time, Isarin, the god of soul. Each god bestowed their name and universal property to their nation through the blood of their land. Diligent praise to these gods, along with the blood of the land, allows the inhabitants of Gafora to wield the universal property of their god. These inhabitants are called gifts. It is forbidden for these nations to fraternize with one another. Gifts, the lands of Gafora.
So definitely go and check out my new channel, Gifts, the Lands of Gafora. Hashtag GTLG, where I'm going to be doing, a ton of stuff over here on this new channel for sure. It's going to be crazy things going on and going up and going down, all that good stuff. This new channel is dedicated to the lore, world building, and overall creative process for Gifts, the Lands of Gafora, a sprawling sci-fi fantasy epic based in the segregated lands of Gafora, where universal properties are wielded like magic. This story follows wielders of cosmic power on their epic journey to find out the truth behind the truth as they fight for their lives, as they fight for the lives of Gifts and all Gaforian kind. So, you know, I definitely am excited to get it going over there and, you know, just be nerding out about my book stuff. And you know, I want to create something new and pretty dope to where, you know, even the, you know, you guys that, you know, watch are able to also help construct some of the story and maybe even more so the world, like construct certain aspects of the world, you know, put up certain things for votes and just different things like that. And I'm hoping to do a Kickstarter later on within the year, once I have like more stuff going, and I'm also looking for like map designers and artists and all these different things just to continue growing this amazing world that I've been building for the last couple of years, and I want to start telling this story more as well. So, I appreciate all the love that you guys can give. If you guys can go over to the channel, subscribe, drop a like on that video, and help build, that channel more as well, so we can kind of get that story going and, continue on this amazing journey of creating amazing stories, and not just, being not just taking part of other people's, but be able to be a part of a story and not just read it, so that's kind of the goal over there. I'm nervous about it, but we're getting it in. So I appreciate all the love, for real, for real. With all that being said, let's jump into chapter 19, Shadows Waiting. Now, I'm just now realizing that bro was a ghost in this chapter, and I don't even think I realized it for whatever reason. I don't know what I thought he was, but for whatever reason, I did not understand that he was a ghost. There's a lot of stuff going on. This was another thing that was completely different in the show. I mean, there are certain things that it's like, I'm pretty sure the only reason why some things are so different in the show is because of budget. Like, I don't think, that's it. Like, I don't think there's any other reason, because it's just some amazing stuff and some amazing, mental visuals that you get to partake in. It's kind of insane that some of the visuals or the cinematography from the book sometimes shines the cinematography of the show, even though it's like descriptions versus actual visuals. You know what I mean? It's honestly insane. It's honestly crazy, and it has me extremely hyped about more of this book. I'm not gonna lie to you, but getting back into it, they're in the city. They're kind of looking at everything as they're trying to make their way to where they need to be. And it's like, wow, this is beautiful. This is amazing. They start bringing the horses inside. This is another spot where I actually appreciate Tom. And I started off this episode obviously talking mess about Tom, but I had already, in previous episodes, I did mention how much I appreciate Tom for being that father figure, for being the only person that's around that the boys can honestly trust in. And not just the boys, but you obviously see that everyone knows that Tom is somehow trustworthy. Even the new people that meet him, even they trust him to some extent, right? So it's definitely incredible to see all these things take place and all these things happen, and then after all of these crazy, tremendous, terrible feats that are going on, you have Tom come in and he be that kind of father figure, or the it's not just father figure, I guess more so parental figure, and a role model, I guess you can say, to the boys, to be like, all right, let's do this, let's get everything going, let's tidy up, hey, let's not worry about what the ladies are doing, hey, let's get this going, kind of still, even though he is a gleeman and he is a traveler and he's not from the Two Rivers, he still understands that these people from the Two Rivers are just that. They're just like normal. They're normal everyday people who've never went farther than where they are. Like, they've never been to where they are now. They've never ventured this far before. And Tom, he's that focal point. He's that grounding point for them. He allows them to kind of zoom in a little, not zoom in, but lock in a little bit more. And it helps them zoom out, I guess you can say, even more so, and has that person that they can relate to more than anything, that understands that they are farm kids, and being farm kids means a lot more than, being just farm boys. There's a lot that comes with that, because obviously Lan and Moiraine, they don't really give a hot diddly damn about nothing that's going on. Here we go. And then here we go. We have the tea coming up yet again. I just try to make sure that I'm not skipping over certain moments. I apologize for the silence and moments. I love the war cry. Maybe your Aemon come back again. You know, Aemon's war cry, she said, right? Maybe your Aemon come back again. The way you go on about how dull Aemon's field is, I'd think you would like that, being a king and hero reborn. Like, and then immediately, here comes Tom again. Don't say that. That is dangerous talk, stupid talk. The dead can be reborn or take a living body, and it is not something to speak of lightly. He took another breath to calm himself before going on. The old blood, she said, the blood, not a dead man. I've heard that it can happen sometimes. Heard, though I never thought. It was your roots, boy, a line running from you to your father, to your grandfather, right on back to Main Theron, and maybe beyond. Well, now you know your family is old. You ought to let it go at that and be glad. Most people don't know much more than that. They had a well, much wait, most people don't know much more than that they had a father. Some of us can't even be sure of that, Rand thought bitterly. Maybe the wisdom was right. Light, I hope she was. And here we continue with this self-doubt that Rand comes with being unsure of his dad being his dad because of all the stuff that's going on. It's like as soon as they get a moment, not to relax, but as soon as they get a moment of calm, Rand is right back to thinking about that situation. It's weighing on his shoulders so heavily, and it's impacting him on a grand way that I love that we are still continuing to see as we progress through the story. We're all in this together, Rand tells Matt. And then here we go with Matt doing Matt things like I was kind of talking about before. Speaking of things being in things together, like, bro, if you start the conversation of, hey, you know, speaking of being in things together, like, bro, no, I want nothing to do with this, Matt. I want nothing to do with it. Please. Now that we're done with the horses, why don't we go see a little more of this city? A real city. No crowds to jostle your elbow and poke you in the ribs. Nobody looking down their long noses at us. There's still an hour, maybe two left of daylight. Aren't you forgetting the Trollocs? Perrin being the only voice of reason. I remember, and I do listen. This city, Aridol, was an ally of Main Theron. See, I listen. Lan said they couldn't come here, remember? Like, I love it. I love it. And again, it's very confusing, like, how old these, like, they are, right? Like, at least for me, it's very confusing that these are not children, but they are, you know, like, but also, I remember how grown I thought I was when I was, you know, 17, 18, and now that I'm older than that, I'm like, you know, I definitely was tripping about some things there. I had a lot of, you know, there's a lot of growing to be done, but still but this is a completely different time. They're treated like boys still because, you know, they are in their culture and all of that good stuff, and I appreciate that though. And then we fast forward a little bit. Right? No. Here we go. They leave immediately. Free! Matt is a menace, obviously walking them into something completely dangerous. Matt wanted to see everything, it seemed, and he pulled the others along with his enthusiasm. They climbed over dusty fountains with basins wide enough to hold everybody in Eamon's field and wandered in and out of structures chosen at random, but always the biggest they could find. Some they understood, and some not. A palace was plainly a palace, but was a huge building that was one around. white dome as big as a hill outside, and one monstrous room inside, and a walled place open to the sky, and big enough to have held all Eamon's Field, surrounded by row on row of stone benches. Like, what's going on here? Matt grew impatient when they found nothing but dust, rubble, or colorless rags of wall hangings that crumbled at a touch. Once some wooden and chairs stacked against a wall, they all fell to bits when Perrin tried to pick one up. Like, damn, the place is in shambles. The towers are not safe. Man, here we go. Wait, do we want to... Yeah. Yeah, here we go. This is a pretty deep part, I'm not gonna lie. So let's see if we can get into it. It was definitely crazy how it was like some dead man was speaking with my mouth. I forgot about that part. One second. Here we go.
Everyone began to remember that. Yawning, they sat on the steps of a tall building fronted by row on row of tall stone columns and argued about what to do next. "Go back," Rand said, "and get some sleep." He put the back of his hand against his mouth. When he could talk again, he said, "Sleep, that's all I want." "You can sleep any time," Matt said determinedly. "Look at where we are. A ruined city. Treasure. Treasure." Perrin's jaws cracked. "There isn't any treasure here. There isn't anything but dust." Rand shaded his eyes against the sun, a red ball sitting close to the rooftops. "It's getting late, Matt. It'll be dark soon." "There could be treasure," Matt maintained stoutly. "Anyway, I want to climb one of the towers. Look at that one over there. It's whole. I'll bet you could see for miles from up there. What'd you say?" "The towers are not safe," said a man's voice behind them.
Oh, here we go.
Rand leaped to his feet and spun around, clutching his sword hilt, and the others were just as quick. A man stood in the shadows among the columns at the top of the stairs. He took half a step forward, raised his hand to shield his eyes, and stepped back again. "Forgive me," he said smoothly. "I've been quite a long time in the dark inside. My eyes are not yet used to the light." "Who are you?" Rand thought the man's accent sounded odd, even after Baerlon. Some words he pronounced strangely, so Rand could barely understand them. "What are you doing here? We thought the city was empty." "I am Mordeth." He paused as if expecting them to recognize the name. When none of them gave any sign of doing so, he muttered something under his breath and went on. "I could ask the same questions of you. There's been no one in Aradol for a long time. A long, long time. I would not have thought to find 3 young men wandering its streets." "We're on our way to Camelin," Rand said. "We stopped to take shelter for the night." "Camelin," Mordeth said slowly, rolling the name around his tongue, then shook his head. "Shelter for the night, you say? Perhaps you will join me." "You still haven't said what you're doing here," Perrin said. "Why, I'm a treasure hunter, of course." "Have you found any?" Matt demanded excitedly. Rand thought Mordeth smiled, but in the shadows he could not be sure. "I have," the man said. "More than I expected. Much more.
Oh, no.
More than I can carry away. I never expected to find 3 strong, healthy young men. If you will help me move what I can take to where my horses are, you may each have a share of the rest. As much as you can carry. Whatever I leave will be gone, carried off by some other treasure hunter before I can return for it." "I told you there must be treasure in a place like this," Matt exclaimed. He darted up the stairs. "We'll help you carry it. Just take us to it." He and Mordeth moved deeper into the shadows among the columns. Rand looked at Perrin.
Like, what are you doing, Matt? What the hell are you
Perrin glanced at
doing?
the sinking sun.
You don't even know this guy. There's
They
not
went up
supposed
the
to be
stairs
anyone
warily,
here, and you're following the
Perrin
first
easing
person
his
that
axe
pulls
in its
up.
belt loop. Rand's hand tightened on his sword.
You're following a person named
But
More
Matt and
Death.
Mordeth were waiting among the columns. Mordeth with arms folded, Matt peering impatiently into the interior. "Come," Mordeth said. "I will show you the treasure." He slipped inside and Matt followed. There was nothing for the others to do but go on.
No questions, Matt. No
The hall
questions.
inside
What
was
are we doing,
shadowy,
Matt?
But almost immediately Mordeth
God
turned
damn it.
aside and took some narrow steps that wound around and down through deeper and deeper dark until they fumbled their way in pitch blackness. Rand felt along the wall with one hand, unsure there would be a step below until his foot met it. Even Matt began to feel uneasy, judging by his voice when he said,
Even
"It's
Matt
awfully
began
dark
to
down
feel
here."
uneasy. Yeah.
"Yes, yes," Mordeth replied. "The man seems to be having no trouble at all with the dark. There are lights below. Come." Indeed, the winding stairs abruptly gave way to a corridor dimly lit by scattered smoky torches set in iron sconces on the walls. The flickering flames and shadows gave Rand his first good look at Mordeth, who hurried on without pausing, motioning them to follow. There was something odd about him, Rand thought, but he could not pick out what it was exactly. Mordeth was a sleek, somewhat overfed man, with drooping eyelids that made him seem to be hiding behind something and staring. Short and completely bald, he walked as if he were taller than any of them. His clothes were certainly like nothing Rand had ever seen before either. Tight black breeches and soft red boots with the tops turned down at his ankles. A long red vest thickly embroidered in gold, and a snowy white shirt with wide sleeves, the points of his cuffs hanging almost to his knees. Certainly not the kind of clothes in which to hunt through a ruined city in search of treasure. But it was not that which made him seem strange either. Then the corridor ended in a tile-walled room, and he forgot about any oddities Mordeth might have. His gasp was an echo of his friend's. Here, too, light came from a few torches staining the ceiling with their smoke and giving everyone more than one shadow. But that light was reflected 1,000 times by the gems and gold piled on the floor. Mounds of coins and jewelry, goblets and plates and
Let's
platters,
go.
gilded, gem-encrusted swords and daggers, all heaped together carelessly in waist-high mounds. With a
Stranger
cry, Matt
danger!
ran forward and fell to his knees in front of one of the piles. "Sacks," he said breathlessly, pawing through the gold. "We'll need sacks to carry all of this."
Bruh, at first I was like, is sax a enthusiastic term for them? Like, do they say sax when they're happy? I was like, what? This is news to me.
"We can't carry it all," Rand said. He looked around helplessly. All the gold the merchants brought to Emmons Field in a year would not have made the 1,000th part of just one of those mounds. Not now. It's almost dark. Perrin pulled an axe free, carelessly tossing back the gold chains that had been tangled around it. Jewels glittered along its shiny black handle, and delicate gold scrollwork covered the twin blades. "Tomorrow, then," he said, hefting the axe with a grin. "Moraine and Lan will understand when we show them this." "You are not alone," Mordeth said. He had let them rush past him into the treasure room, but now he followed. "Who else is with you?" Matt, wrist deep in the riches before him, answered absently, "Moraine and Lan. And then there's Nynaeve and Egwene, and Tom. He's a gleeman. We're going
Matt,
to Tarvalon."
shut the hell up!
Rand
Matt!
caught his breath. Then the silence from Mordeth made him look at the man. Rage twisted Mordeth's face. And fear, too. His lips pulled back from his teeth.
Dumb son of a...
"Tarvalon." He shook clenched fists at them. "Tarvalon. You said you were going to this Camelin. You lied to me." "If you still want," Perrin said to Mordeth, "we'll come back tomorrow and help you." Carefully he set the axe back on the heap of gem-encrusted chalices and jewelry. "If you want." "No. That is..." Panting, Mordeth shook his head as if he could not decide. "Take what you want. Except... Suddenly Rand realized what had been nagging at him about the man. The scattered torches in the hallway had given each of them a ring of shadows, just as the torches in the treasure room did. Only... He was so shocked he said it out loud. "You don't have a shadow!" A goblet fell from Matt's hand with a crash. Mordeth nodded, and for the first time his fleshy eyelids opened all the way. His sleek face suddenly appeared pinched and hungry. So, he stood straighter, seeming taller. It is decided. Abruptly, there was no seeming to it. Like a balloon, Mordith swelled, distorted, head pressed against the ceiling, shoulders butting the walls, filling the end of the room, cutting off escape. Hollow-cheeked, teeth bared in a rictus snarl, he reached out with hands big enough to engulf a man's head. With a yell, Rand leaped back. His feet tangled in a gold chain and he crashed to the floor, the wind knocked out of him. Struggling for breath, he struggled at the same time for his sword, fighting his cloak which had become wrapped around the hilt. The yells of his friends filled the room, and the clash of gold platters and goblets clattering across the floor. Suddenly an agonized scream shivered in Rand's ears. Almost sobbing, he managed to inhale at last, just as he got the sword out of its sheath. Cautiously he got to his feet, wondering which of his friends had given that scream. Perrin looked back at him wide-eyed from across the room, crouched and holding his axe back as if about to chop down a tree. Matt peered around the side of a treasure pile, clutching a dagger snatched from the trove. Something moved in the deepest part of the shadows left by the torches, and they all jumped. It was Mordith, clutching his knees to his chest and huddled as deep into the furthest corner as he could get. "He tricked us!" Matt panted. "It was some kind of trick!"
Shit.
Mordeth threw back his head and wailed. Dust sifted down as the walls trembled. "You are all dead," he cried. "All dead!" And he leaped up, diving across the room. Rand's jaw dropped, and he almost dropped the sword as well. As Mordeth dove through the air, he stretched out and thinned like a tendril of smoke. As thin as a finger, he struck a crack in the wall tiles and vanished into it. A last cry hung in the room
Let's
as
get
he
a
vanished,
one in the chat.
fading slowly
If Matt
away
needs
after
better,
he was gone.
better
You are all
teaching about
dead.
stranger danger, my guy. Like, he needs some rules about
Let's get out of
stranger
here.
danger, for real.
Perrin said faintly, firming his grip on his axe while he tried to face every direction at once. Gold ornaments and gems scattered unnoticed under his feet. "But the treasure!" Matt protested. "We can't just leave it now." "I don't want anything of his," Perrin said, still turning one way after another. He raised his voice and shouted at the walls. "It's your treasure! You hear? We are not taking any of it!"
Like,
Rand
bruh.
stared angrily at Matt. "Did you want him to come
Bruh,
after us?
tripping.
Or are you going to wait here stuffing your pockets until he comes back with 10 more like him?" Matt just gestured to all the gold and jewels. Before he could say anything, though, Rand seized one of his arms and Perrin grabbed the other. They hustled him out of the room, Matt struggling and shouting about the treasure. Before they had gone 10 steps down the hall, the already dim light behind them began to fail. The torches in the treasure room were going out. Matt stopped shouting. They hastened their steps. The first torch outside the room winked out, then the next. By the time they reached
Surely
the winding
Matt's
stairs,
learned his
there was no
lesson
need to
now.
drag Matt any
You
longer.
know he
They were all
hasn't.
running, with the dark closing in behind them. Even the pitch black of the stairs only made them hesitate an instant. Then they sped upwards, shouting at the top of their lungs, shouting to scare anything that might be waiting, shouting to remind themselves they were still alive. They burst out into the hall above, sliding and falling on the dusty marble, scrambling out through the columns to tumble down the stairs and land in a bruised heap in the street. Rand untangled himself and picked Tam's sword up from the pavement, looking around uneasily. Less than half of the sun still showed above the rooftops. Shadows reached out like dark hands, made blacker by the remaining light, nearly filling the street. He shivered. The shadows looked like Mordith. Reaching. "At least we're out of it." Matt got up from the bottom of the pile, dusting himself off in a shaky imitation of his usual manner. "And at least I—" "Are we?" Perrin said. Rand knew it was not his imagination this time. The back of his neck prickled. Something was watching them from the darkness in the columns. He spun around, staring at the buildings across the way. He could feel eyes on him from there, too. His grip tightened on his sword hilt, though he wondered what good it would be. Watching eyes seemed to be everywhere. The others looked around warily. He knew they could feel it, too. "We stay in the middle of the street," he said hoarsely. They met his eyes. They looked as frightened as he felt. He swallowed hard. "We stay in the middle of the street, keep out of shadows as much as we can, and walk fast. Walk very fast," Matt agreed
Sleep
fervently.
well and wake, my
The
brother.
Watchers followed them. Or else there were
I
lots of
appreciate
Watchers.
you, ACM.
Lots of eyes staring out of almost every building. Rand could not see anything move, hard as he tried, but he could feel the eyes. Eager. Hungry. He did not know which would be worse. Thousands of eyes, or just a few. Following them. In the stretches where the sun still reached them, they slowed, just a little, squinting nervously into the darkness that always seemed to lay ahead. None of them was eager to enter the shadows. No one was really sure something might not be waiting. The WoTcher's anticipation was a palpable thing
Hey, it worked
whenever
that time,
shadows
ACM.
stretched
Let's
across
go.
the street, barring their way. They ran through those dark places, shouting. Rand thought he could hear dry, rustling laughter. At last, with twilight falling, they came in sight of the white stone building they had left what seemed like days ago. Suddenly, the watching eyes departed. Between one step and the next, they vanished in a blink. Without a word, Rand broke into a trot, followed by his friends, then a full run that only ended when they hared through the doorway and collapsed, panting. A small fire burned in the middle of the tile floor, the smoke vanishing through a hole in the ceiling in a way that reminded Rand unpleasantly of Mordeth. Everyone except Lan was there, gathered around the flames, and their reactions varied considerably. Egwene, warming her hands at the fire, gave a start as the three burst into the room, clutching her hands to her throat. When she saw who it was, a relieved sigh spoiled her attempt at a withering look. Tom merely muttered something around his pipe.
Freaking crazy, bruh. No matter what happens, they can't catch a break because these crazy children are losing their mind, bro. Like, all you gotta do is listen, damn it. Listen. But no one listens. And they're like, yo, you saw Trollocs? Nah, well, there was no Trollocs. Like, Mordeth. Are you sure of that name? Be very sure, all of you. Mordeth. Like, bruh. Why are we making these terrible, terrible decisions to do these stupid, stupid things? It's just uncanny. These guys make the worst decisions ever. Like, and then, you know what? Guess what? Now there's hundreds of Trollocs here now as well. So it's like, is that because of the things that we have done, or were they on our ass either way? Did he touch you? Did he give you anything? Like, okay, stranger danger 100%. And the first question is, did he touch you? Like, did he give you anything? Did you do anything for him? Like, bruh, what are we doing, Matt? You foolish child. Immediately, this is obviously Matt's doing. It's crazy. And then we get a little bit of explanation here. The story is too long to tell in full and too grim, and only fragments are known, even in Tar Valon. How Thorin's son, Kar, came to Aradal, back to the Second Covenant, and Balwin set his throne, a withered shell with the light of madness in his eyes, laughing while Mordeth smiled at his side and ordered the deaths of Kar and the embassy as friends of the dark. How Prince Kar came to be called Kar One Hand, how he escaped the dungeons of Aradal and fled alone to the borderlands with Mordeth's unnatural assassins at his heels, how there met Rhea, who did not know who he was, and married her, and set the skein in the pattern that led to his death at her hands, and hers by her own hand, before his tomb, and the fall of Eleth Loriel, how the armies of Maintherin came to avenge Kar, and found gates of Aradal torn down, no living thing, Aradal but Aradal. Wait, no living thing inside the walls, but something worse than death. No enemy had come to Aradal but Aradal. Suspicion and hate had given birth to something that this that fed on that which created it, something locked in the bedrock on which the city stood. Mashadar waits still, hungering. Men spoke of Aradal no more. They named it Shadar Logoth, the place where the shadow waits, or more simply, shadows waiting. Yo. Mordeth alone was not consumed by Mashadar, but he was snared by it, and he too has waited within these walls through the long centuries. Others have seen him. Some he has influenced through gifts that twist the mind and taint the spirit, the taint waxing and waning until it rules, or kills. If ever he convinced someone to accompany him to the walls, to the boundary of Mashadar's power, he will be able to consume the soul of that person. More death will leave wearing the body of the one he worse than killed to wreak evil on this world again. The treasure. Like, holy shit. I feel like we definitely dipped out on that. Skipped out on that. I love how bro's just holding Tam's sword this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time something happens, he's like, yep, let me grip the sword. Oh, and then I love how it's, oh wait, did I go too far? Maybe I did. No. I love how they know, like, things like this. Like, everyone had been listening in silence. Now Tom cursed under his breath, and Egwene breathed a question. The Dark One? Don't be a fool, girl, Nynaeve snapped. The Dark One is bound in Sheol Ghoul by the Creator. For the time being, at least, Moiraine agreed. No, the Father of Lies is not out there, but we must leave in any case. I love the fact that everyone knows the lore in some way, shape, or form. Like, they know about the Dark One, they know about the Creator, and all of these other things. It's like, yes, like, sign me all the way up for it all. And then how they know about the Madral and everything, how they don't like water. Love it, 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 love it. Love it, love it, love it, yo. Okay. That is chapter 19. So let's jump in chat, see how everybody is feeling about that. Let's see. Time for the ghost. I guess it's debatable whether Mordeth is literally a ghost, but that's how I've always thought of him. Huh. It's a really good story, and this book isn't even the best one in the series. Blows my mind still, even 30 years later. Yeah, that's actually insane. Speaking of ghosts, I definitely did not remember Tom talking about how the dead can possess people. Yeah, right? I mean, obviously I didn't remember it, but I just think it's crazy that they can't, like, that's even something that they mentioned, like, building so much type of lore on there. Yeah, that video on gifts got me. I'm in. Hey, I appreciate you, LBF. Subbed. That's a dope intro video. Hey, I appreciate you too, ACM. I definitely appreciate y'all. Hope to get a lot more coming there. You know what I mean? Hope to have a lot more going on that channel very soon. I'm just kind of, getting everything together first and trying to make sure You know what I'm saying? We got some good, we got shit going smoothly before we start going too hard over there. On the channel, that is. RJ has quite a phantasmagorical lord writing style. That is a new word for me, my boy. Yo, I'm far enough in the book that it just stays open now by itself. That's crazy. Excuse me. God damn. I don't know what that was about. Phantasmagorical. Is that right? A form of horror that used one or more magic lanterns to project frightening images. Oh, okay. I understand that. Very strange, like something in a dream. Okay. I understand every meaning of that now. Budget, both the budget and the time budget, they need more episodes per season. Yeah, they do need more episodes per season. It's kind of insane that they don't have more. It's kind of insane that the biggest properties that should have the most seasons don't. And then they give hella seasons to things that don't need. I mean, hella episodes to things that don't need hella episodes, and the things that need hella episodes, they don't give them hella episodes. Introducing more death adds a whole new layer of metaphysics. I can see how it'd be confusing to throw in without explanation. Most show watchers didn't understand that the evil Shadar Logoth is different from the dark one. Yeah, I could feel that. Shit, I didn't even know that. The dark one wasn't our boy Ishmael. You feel me? Like, that's something that had me absolutely baffled. But as well, I like that it kind of leaves it up to wires getting crossed over like years and years and centuries and shit. Show, not shoe, I got you. My take on Nynaeve being pleased that Moiraine took her tea was both a see, Moiraine doesn't know everything as well to herself. Thank the light, I'm actually being useful. Yeah, this is a big fact. Nynaeve, I feel like Nynaeve was super jelly about everything before then. And then at that moment, it's like you're saying, it's like, hey, I'm actually doing something now. I'm not just taking up space. I wonder if Matt zoning out before their escapade was not just reflecting on what he said in Old Tongue, but maybe Mordeth starting to influence him in some way. Hard to say. That's very true. Like, maybe he starts to hear the thing calling out to him at the first time. It definitely doesn't seem like they get there on accident. They definitely get there. Like, Matt leads the way. I think you're right the first time, at least since a certain tar scene. LOL, I love the way Rosamund Pike says, treasure. Yep, I love that. That was awesome. The real treasure are the daggers we stole along the way. Yo, that's crazy. That's hilarious. Oh, your name is More Death? Cool. Treasure anyone? Big stranger danger. Do not follow More Death into the ice cream truck, Matt. Facts, though. I'd pull a Scrooge McDuck and start doing the backstroke and all that gold. Man, those sacks of treasure might slow them down in a bit when they're running from Trollocs. Just saying. Facts. I love that he gets his own sword. You know what I mean? I love that he gets his own sword. That's super awesome. Just because he doesn't know the capital of the country that stood for 1,000 years doesn't mean it's a red flag. Man, that's funny. Surely Matt's learned his lesson now. Again, sleep well and wake to ACM. Hope you have a good one. Let's see. I think it's hilarious how the Trollocs are described sort of soft stepping through the streets, scared out of their minds. Yeah, they definitely are terrified. Whoa, I never caught the more death reference in Tom's Tales. Oh, this was after, not during Berlin's Tales. That makes more sense. Yeah, facts. The real question is, what could cause Fades to force Trollocs to shadow Lorgoth? That's what I'm trying to see. Like, what? Matt sounds like he was under... He needs his extra vitamins. Is crazy, Marisu. You're wildin'. Hell nah. Ain't no way. That is crazy. For real, for real. Yo. Let's see. Okay. All right, now it is time to get into chapter 20. And I know it's getting late, y'all. I hope y'all are able to stay awake. I hope y'all are able to keep your eyes open and continue to vibe out with us tonight. But if you can't, I got just the thing for you to stay up the same way I do.
I'm Sensei Fito, aka Vane Sensei, and I'm here with my bro.
Yo, y'all already know it's Vane DeVito, bro. We up in here, man. Today, we came with a little surprise for y'all, which was a little surprise for us as well.
Facts.
And we've been waiting on this surprise. So y'all see it. Y'all see it.
You feel me?
Little delivery box
We
right
got
there.
the little box
You know what I mean?
from none other than Glitch Energy, yo.
Yo, big glitch out here. You know what I'm saying?
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it like a song, shake it like a glitch, shake it like a glitch, shake it like a shake it.
We in there.
Ooh, it smell dumbass good.
Fire?
Ooh. This is the starter kit. I believe it starts at $15. We got the shaker, 5 flavors. I'm not sure if that's how it comes. That's what they sent to us. So we definitely appreciate that. But y'all definitely check it out. Tell us what your favorite flavor is if you've already tried it. That is right, y'all. So make sure you show some love and go get you some Glitch Energy and use code VANE at checkout. All right. Now after they moan across rooftops, you know, we get some more things going on here. They're running and they're talking. Oh, this is the moment where everyone splits up because there's crazy shit going on everywhere. Everyone's running away. They're getting chased indefinitely. And I like the way that they handled it in the book a little bit more. Because if I'm not mistaken, in this show, it's like basically like dark magic is like following them everywhere, and they're like running away. Like not dark magic, but you know, it's like one of the horses die. Like one of the horses die because it's like the manifestation of death is like chasing them or something. I don't know what the hell was going on. The horse turned to like stone or some shit. It was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, this was definitely a terrifying moment. But I think this whole chapter is everyone running away and getting away. If you guys have anything, I'm flipping through the pages trying to make sure. Oh, up until they meet the captain. And they get on the boat trying to escape. Oh yeah, he's like, bruh. Yeah, we just meet the captain dude and his peoples. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of chapter 20 is just them escaping from the Trollocs, and it's very like heart pounding and things like that, but I don't know if it was a I can't really think of anything. I'm looking through it and nothing's like standing out necessarily, I don't think, in this chapter. Because they're just escaping like crazily. Everyone's worried about everyone. Everyone's nervous. They all escape. They all get away. They all do their damn thing. I think that's kind of it for 21 for 20 at least. Yeah, I think that's it for 20, so we'll just kind of move on to 21. I'm trying to see what else there is. It's crazy how they have to avoid Mashadar and Trollocs. Definitely feels like a video game sequence. I agree with that. It definitely does. Yeah, we do get to switch perspectives multiple times within that chat, within this part too. That's true. I think that's the first time it happens so heavily as well, to where it's like obviously switching a perspective of everyone. It's like, I guess this is the first chapter where we do get to see things from everyone else's point of view truthfully, and see how they react to things and how they're doing all of this stuff. Which is I really like that. I really like that, and I'm kind of surprised it took that long to get to that point. But also, it was a really good build up to that moment of having the perspective switch be so, like apparent and rampant, and like LBF was saying, even having that switch up, having wow, having to run away from all the people definitely feels like a video game, and then having that switch up of perspectives makes it feel like a movie, I guess. So it's like you get two of these crazy vibes at the same time, and I think it does a really good well of doing that. And I love the fact that we get to see how ruthless and brutal these Trollocs truthfully are. Yeah. All right. Chapter 21. Listen to the wind. Now we get to see stuff from Nynaeve's point of view a little bit. Nynaeve being Nynaeve. Being her Nynaeve stealth. Set tripping. And then what really made me laugh and was she was like, when it's like the delicious odor of tea drifted to Nynaeve. Light, don't let my stomach gurgle. Like, yo, she's doing everything she can to not show any sign of weakness at every point of time. And it's hilarious. Can Nynaeve definitely be tripping? And it's like, it's okay to be a little bit vulnerable sometimes, Nynaeve. Relax. Relax. It's okay. uh... And then again, I love the attention to detail. We were very lucky that not all stayed to search Shadar Logoth. The Midral must have doubted we would hide there, but they also feared to return to Sheol Gul, leaving even the slightest chance uncovered. The Dark One was never a lenient master. Don't try to evade it. You know what I am saying. If those thousands were here to be sent into the two rivers, why were they not? There is not. There is only one answer. They were sent only after we crossed the Terran, when it was known that one Midral and 100 Trollocs were no longer enough. How? How were they sent? If 1,000 Trollocs can be brought so far south from the Blight so quickly, unseen, not to mention taken off the same way, can 10,000 be sent into the heart of Saldea, or Arafel, or Shinar? The borderlands could be overrun in a year. Like Nynaeve is in there, you know what I mean? Like, the boys, it was not a question. Like, Nynaeve's like, yo, I am sneaking. I am just listening to everything going on. If you watch the wolf too hard, a mouse will bite you in the ankle. And she looked right at the tree behind which Nynaeve was hiding. Mistress Almira, you may come out now if you wish. And I love how Lan had no idea she was there. And Lan's like, yo, what the hell? And of course, Moiraine and Nynaeve go back and forth. Oh, uh, his face was almost as expressionless as ever, but Nynaeve thought there was a touch of chagrin about the set of his mouth. She felt a stab of satisfaction. The warder had not known she was there. At least, like, yeah, I get it. Satisfaction lasted only a moment, though. She fastened her eyes onto Moiraine and walked toward her purposefully. Like, what have you meshed Egwene and the boys in? What filthy Aes Sedai plots are you planning to use them in? The Aes Sedai picked up her cup and calmly sipped the tea. When Nynaeve was close enough, though, Lan put out an arm to bar her way. She tried to brush the obstruction aside, and was surprised when the warder's arm moved no more than an oak branch would have. She was not frail, but his muscles were like iron. Like, bruh. I love the way that they just talk about everything. I won't listen to any more of this. You must listen, Moiraine says firmly. I had my suspicions in Eamon's Field. Even before I met you, people told me how upset the wisdom was that she had not predicted the hard winter and the latness of spring. They told me how good she was at foretelling weather, at telling the crops they could. Whoa, they told. Yeah. I'm sorry. They told me how wonderful her cures were, how she sometimes healed injuries that should have been crippling. So well there was barely a scar, and not a limp or a twinge. The only ill word I heard about you was from a few who thought you too young for the responsibility, and that only strengthened my suspicions. So much skill, but so young. Who said I was too young? She demanded. How dare the village gossip in front of an outlander? She's immediately set tripping off of everything, and Moiraine's laughing. Like, she's like, yo, she's so, like, bullheaded and crazy. Oh, and then we learn about when Egwene had the breakbone fever, and then Nynaeve basically absorbed it from her, and then she had breakbone fever for like a day. Like, what? And then, of course, she's immediately furious. She had breakbone fever. She kept her head down and spoke to the ground. I was still apprenticed to Mistress Baron, and she set me to watch Egwene. I was young, and I didn't know the wisdom had everything well in hand. It's terrible to watch breakbone fever. The child was soaked with sweat, groaning and twisting until I could not understand why I didn't hear her bones snapping. Mistress Baron had told me the fever would break in another day, 2 at the most, but I thought she was doing me kindness. I thought Egwene was dying. I used to look after her sometimes when she was a toddler, when her mother was busy, and I started crying because I was going to have to watch her die. When Mistress Baron came back an hour later, the fever had broken. She was surprised, but she made over me more than Egwene. But she made over me more than Egwene. I always thought she believed I had given the child something and was too frightened to admit it. I always thought she was trying to comfort me, to make sure I hadn't hurt Egwene. A week later, I fell on the floor in her sitting room, shaking and burning. By turns, she bundled me into bed, but by supper time, it was gone. She dropped her head in her hands as she finished speaking. The Aes Sedai chose a good example, she thought. Light burn her, using the power like an Aes Sedai, a filthy dark friend Aes Sedai. You were very lucky, Moiraine said. Nynaeve sat erect. Lan stepped back as if what they talked about was none of his business and busied himself with Mandar's saddle, not even glancing at them. Like, bruh, my guy knows his place. He knows what he's supposed to be doing. He knows how he rocks. And then here, and it's like, each time the reaction comes closer to the actual touching of the source until the two happen almost together. After that, there are no more reactions that can be seen, but it is as if a clock has begun ticking. A year, 2 years. I know one woman who lasted 5 years. Of 4 who have the inborn ability that you and Egwene have. 3 die if we do not find them and train them. It is not as horrible as death as men die, but neither is it pretty. If any death can be called so, convulsions, screaming, it takes days, and once it begins, there is nothing that can be done to stop it. Not by all Aes Sedai and Tar Valon together. Like, boy, the freaking building of the world lore, baby. Like, building world lore is crazy right now. I love it. I love how she's even still mad. Okay, right here. All right. Moraine's calm never slipped while she laid out the horrible alternatives. Nynaeve wanted to scream at her, blinking back tears. She turned her face to the Aes Sedai, so the Aes Sedai could not see. Light. A wisdom is supposed to look after all of her people. Why do I have to choose like this? Here is land, Moiraine said, rising and settling her cloak about her shoulders. To Nynaeve it was only a little bow as the warder
led her horse out of the trees. Still, her lips thin when he handed her the reins. It would have been a small boost to her spirits if there had been even a trace of gloating on his face instead of that insufferable stony calm. His eyes widened when he saw her face, and she turned back on him to wipe her tears from her cheeks. How dare he mock my crying? Are you coming, Wisdom? Moiraine asked coolly. She took one last slow look at the forest, wondering if Egwene was out there, before sadly mounting her horse. Lan and Moiraine were already in their saddles, turning their horses south. She followed, stiff-backed, refusing to let herself look back. Instead, she kept her eyes on Moiraine. The Aes Sedai was so confident in her power and plans, she thought. But if they did not find Egwene and the boys, all of them, alive and unharmed, not all of her power would protect her. Not all her power. I can use it, woman. You told me so yourself. I can use it against you. Like, bruh, here we go. Like, bruh, Nynaeve is be tripping, yo. She be tripping. She's like, yeah. All freaking, yeah, I'm powerful now that you told me. I'll attack you, lady. I'll attack you, lady. Like, what? What are we doing here? Chapter 21, Listen to the Wind. All right. Let's see. I did take a nap earlier knowing this would be a late one, but since I have to work in about 5 hours, I'll probably check out soon. Having too much fun right now, though. Damn, LBF, I feel it, bro. I feel it. I actually nodded off for a few minutes earlier. I don't think I have much left in the tank either, unfortunately. Hey, I dig it. Trust me, I understand. Listen to the wind, in which Nynaeve learned she's maybe not as good as being stealthy as she thought she was. Because she definitely thought she was that one. At least she got Lan, right? It's hilarious when Lan immediately knows where her horse is. Yeah, I do agree. He's just like, well, here we go. Come on. Like, yeah, I didn't know where you were, but now I know everything. You know what I'm saying? I love Nynaeve's POV because her inner monologue is hilarious once you realize it doesn't match her outward behavior. She's calm, cool, and reasonable in her own mind. Yeah, facts. All in her own mind and only in her own mind. I wonder if RJ makes Nynaeve seem a little over the top in these scenes just to contrast how cool and collected Moiraine and Lan are. Facts. That's a very good point. That is a very good point. That it makes sense as why they got put together. Everyone was kind of split up into that way. To where, you know, like, everyone was with their opposites. Rand, Matt, Egwene, Perrin, Nynaeve, and then Lan and Moiraine. Like, you know, everybody was in their own pairing. From what the fandom says, Lan's butt is like iron too. Good old oak cheeks. What? Is that a spicy text? Am I tripping? That seems like a spicy text to me. Good old oak cheeks. That seems like a spicy tax. And maybe a dad joke tax too. I don't know. It seems like both. It seems like that should be both. The lore just gets casually snuck into an emotional conversation. It's pretty great. I love it. I love it. It's like just there. Like, wow. Yes. I need more. Did Nynaeve even see Moiraine step over that wall? I don't think so. I don't think she was even almost aware of what was going on and what was taking place. Not even almost slightly. But another lovely chapter. Yet again. Here we go with one of my favorite chapters, honestly. And this is Perrin and Egwene meeting the homie quick, fast, and in a hurry. Way faster than they did. Oh, wait, no, never mind. That was just Perrin and
and Egwene just kind of making the decision on where they were going. Nothing much here, I don't think. They'll find us. Aes Sedai will find us. We got to keep rocking. We got to keep rolling. Let's go together. Happy, happy, joy, joy. I think that's basically the gist of that chapter. Yeah. Literally nothing of importance in that chapter. But chapter 23, Wolf Brother, that's the one, baby. That is the one. Chapter 23, Wolf Brother, is where we meet the man, the myth, the legend. Can't think of his name, but I'm looking for it. Elias. My guy Elias, yo. And it's crazy that we so quickly get introduced to all of these characters and all the wolves and just all how that goes. Like, four wolves stepped into firelight, shaggy and waist-high forms with jaws that could break a man's leg. As if the people were not there, they walked up to the fire and lay down between the humans. In the darkness among the trees, firelight reflected off the eyes of more wolves on all sides. Yellow eyes, Perrin thought, like Elias's eyes. That was what he had been trying to remember. Carefully watching the wolves among them, he reached for his axe. I would not do that, Elias said. If they think you mean harm, they'll stop being friendly. They were staring at him, those four wolves, Perrin saw. He had the feeling that all the wolves in those trees as well were staring at him. It made his skin itch. Cautiously, he moved his hands from the axe. He imagined he could feel the tension ease among the wolves. Slowly, he sat back down. His hands shook until he gripped his knees to stop them. Egwene was so stiff she almost quivered. One wolf, close to black with a lighter gray patch on his face, lay nearly touching her. Like, bro. And then again, we get a lot of soft world building for the wolves and everything. Wolves remember things differently from the way people do. Every wolf remembers the history of all wolves, or at least the shape of it. Like I said, it can't be put into words very well. They remember running down prey side by side with men, but it was so long ago that it's more like the shadow of a shadow than a memory. Like, bruh, we are cooking. Quite a story, Elias nodded. Yes, quite a story. There's a few things wrong with it, but the main thing is, Dapple says it's all a lump of lies. Every last word. Like, bruh, I love how we are so to the point with everything, bruh. He's letting it all be known. He's like, yo, everyone can't just talk to them. This isn't something that's taught. You gotta be da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, we're getting so much world building back to back to back to back to back to back to back. Can't be taught. Some can do it, some can't. They say he can. He pointed at Perrin. Like, bro, just so quickly, like, wait, Perrin can talk to the wolves? What? It's just such a blink and you miss it type of vibe. You know what I mean? Like, wow.
Perrin did not say anything. Perrin did not say anything, but his hand stayed to the axe at his waist. The 4 wolves rose to their feet in one quick movement, and his hand froze. They made no sound, but thick hackles on their necks stood erect. One of the wolves back under the trees raised a growling howl into the night. Others answered, 5, 10, 20, till the darkness rippled with them. Abruptly, they too were still. Cold sweat trickled down Perrin's face. And their brother proceeds to spill all of the beans from start to finish. Oh, and then we get yet more world building. Trollocs and half-men this far south, Elias mused. Now that's something to consider. He rooted behind him and tossed Perrin a hide water bag. Not really looking at him, he appeared to be thinking. He waited until Perrin had drunk and replaced the plug before he spoke again. I don't hold with Aes Sedai. The Red Aja, those like hunting for men who mess with the One Power, they wanted to gentle me once. I told them to their faces they were Black Aja. Serve the Dark One, I said, and they didn't like that at all. They couldn't catch me, though, once I got into the forest, but they did try. Yes, they did. Come to that, I doubt any Aes Sedai would take kindly to me after that. I had to kill a couple of warders. Bad business, that. Killing warders. Don't like it. Like, bro, what? You're just casually talking about whooping ass, going against Red Aja, calling them like they're evil. Like, and again, we don't have any idea what a black... Well, I think we've heard Black Aja. I feel like someone said Black Aja in the town before. Maybe I'm mistaken. But... yeah, I think someone did say Black Aja. Or did they say Dark Friend? It was either Black Aja or Dark Friend, but someone compared someone to a Black Aja, and they were like, like, how dare you? And it's like, I love that as well. It just works so well. It's like, yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yes. I love that. Oh, and then Elias is like, after everything, you can stay with me. With us. Egwene's eyebrows shot up and Perrin's mouth dropped open. Well, that could be safer, Elias challenged. Trollocs will take any chance they get to kill a wolf by itself, but they'll go miles out of their way to avoid a pack. And you won't have to worry about Aes Sedai either. They don't often come into these woods. So it's like, hey, holy shit, is this the thing that caused them to be found by the Trollocs in the first place? Because my guy Elias and the wolf pack were out there roaming the woods, and then it caused the Trollocs and the Eyeless to then move towards them. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, holy crap. I've seen a pack pull down one of the eyeless too. Lost half the pack, but they wouldn't give up once they had its scent. Trollocs, Madral, it's all one to the wolves. If it's you they really want, boy. They've heard of other men who can talk to wolves, but you're the first they've ever met besides me. They'll accept your friend too, though, and you'll all be safer here than in any city. There's dark friends in cities. Like, bro, what? Like, did we literally just get told that my guy is one of these people, just flat out easy peasy lemon squeezy like that? Like, wow. Like, wow.
Um, We are going to Camelin, Egwene spoke up firmly, and then to Tarvalon. Closing his mouth, Perrin met her angry look with one of his own. He knew that she followed his lead when she wanted to and not when she did not, but she could at least let him answer for himself. What about you, Perrin? He said, and answered himself. Me? Well, let me think. Yes, yes, I think I'll go on. He turned a mild smile on her. Well, Egwene, that makes both of us. I guess I'm going with you at that. Good to talk these things out before making a decision, isn't it? She blushed, but but the set of her jaw never lessened. Elias grunted. Dapple said that's what you decide. She said the girls planted firmly in the human world, while you, he nodded at Perrin, stand halfway between. Under the circumstances, I suppose we better go south with you. Otherwise you'll probably starve to death, or get lost, or Abruptly, Burns stood up, and Elias turned his head to regard the big wolf. After a moment, Dapple rose too. She moved closer to Elias so that she also was meeting Burns' stare. The tableau was frozen for long minutes. Then Burn whirled and vanished into the night. Dapple shook herself, then resumed her place, flopping down as if nothing had happened. Dapple runs this pack, Elias explained. Some of the males could best her if they challenged, but she's smarter than any of them, and they all know it. She saved the pack more than once, but Byrne thinks the pack is wasting its time with you three. Hating Trollocs is about all there is to them. If there are Trollocs this far south, he wants to be off killing them. We understand, Egwene said. We really can find our own ways with some direction, of course, if you'll give them. I said Dapple leads this pack, didn't I? In the morning, I'll start south with you, and so will they. I love it. Perrin sat wrapped in his own silence. He could feel Byrne leaving, and the scared male was not the only one. A dozen others, all young males, loped after him. He wanted to believe it was all Elias playing on his imagination, but he could not. Just before the departing wolves faded from his mind, he felt a thought he knew came from Byrne, as sharp and clear as if it was his own thought. Hatred. Hatred and the taste of blood. Woo-hoo! Cooking with Crisco, baby. Another banger chapter. It's kind of insane how good this book is, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is, I think, again, if you guys know that I love me some Perrin. And I think that this chapter was fantastic. 23 is also like my magic number, so it was like destined for me to love this chapter. Wolf Brother is an amazing chapter, and I can't wait to hear how you guys feel about it as well. Butt Rock is a Watt landmark? What? Elias has very obviously not been around people for a while. Yeah, super obvious. Like, my guy is mad, not antisocial, but yes, antisocial. I imagine you were probably surprised to get this part so soon. I was baffled, Marisu, to get this part so early. I was like, wait, this is Wolf Bro. How are we here already? What? Definitely surprised. Elias doesn't beat around the bush either like he does in the show. Another thing that took me by surprise. I really wasn't ready for him to be so, so assertive, I guess, or so sure of what was going to be happening. And that had me extra hyped. It had me extra ready as well. I think they do a great job of showing the pack mindset with the wolves,
even down to their collective memory and how interconnected they all are. Yes, I agree very much so. I didn't even like I don't know why, but it's just something that I've never even thought of it to be used in that way. Like the way that they do it, it's done so beautifully. Bro, like the story is just constructed amazingly, giving us like all these different takes on some things that we've even heard before, like the wolf pack and, you know, werewolves and all this other stuff. But it like takes those ideas and then kind of flips the trope on its head, and it does it in just such a fantastic way. Like such a fantastic way. First mention of the Black Aja. Facts. But of course, Black Aja doesn't exist. There is no Black Aja in Ba Sing Se. Yeah, I feel like we heard Black Aja early in the story, but I might be mistaken. You guys definitely know better than I do. That Elias guy needs to stop spreading false rumors. Ah, the snark. Nice one, Perrin. I like to think Burn was named after his cutting yet hilarious commentary. Yeah, like Burn. Oh, like bruh's he was not having it. You know, he was not having none of the games, none of the tomfoolery or pippycock, if you will. I just love it. What a fantastic book. What a fantastic book. All right, we are about to move on to our eighth. Is this the eighth and final chapter, I guess? Our eighth and final chapter tonight. I'm very excited. But y'all already know before we go through, you gotta holla at me and the bro.
What is up, Super Fam?
How's it going, everyone?
Welcome to Marvel Bros, where we discuss all things Marvel and everything pop culture.
We started Marvel Bros back in 2019 because we have a love for not only Marvel movies and comics, but because we wanted to have a place where people could stay up to date with all pop culture news.
Here, you will have access to all of our content, whether it be trailer reactions.
He looks like He-Man.
Oh!
And most importantly, controllable.
Go!
Character breakdowns. Welcome to Marvel Bros Breakdown.
Welcome to Marvel Bros Breakdown, where we dive deeper into characters and theorize about the latest films.
Pop culture news updates. On today's pop culture news update.
And on today's pop culture news update,
Or movie reviews.
we love to have open discussions here on the channel, so feel free to join us when we go live.
Battle Cove, I like that Kang's motives are understandable in the same way Thanos' motives were. That's exactly what we're saying. That was pretty awesome. Well.
Or jump in the comment section of a trailer reaction or breakdowns so we can theorize, converse, and nerd out.
Follow us on social media at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with the latest news, rumors, content, and more.
You can also join our Discord, where we are constantly having conversations pertaining to Marvel, DC, Star Wars, anime, and everything pop culture.
All of our past pop culture news updates are available wherever you listen to podcasts at.
If you guys would like to support Marvel Bros, all you gotta do is visit our website at www.marvelbros.com and buy some merch. Represent the super fan.
To get early access to content, patron-only scoops, giveaways, private Q&As, and
That
those
is
sacred
right. Y'all already know you can tap in with Marvel Bros and all that good stuff. Yeah. Actually, history. Oh, no, it's right here. Bam. Wait, it's not right here. Whoops. Okay, sorry, y'all. I thought I had it right here. Boom. Go and get you some Marvel Bros merch. Go get you some Marvel Bros merch. Yeah. All right. Flight down the Arenal, in which Tom proves he's more than just an NPC. Nah, LBF, that's crazy. I knew you was gonna be coming for me for that mention. It is what it is. I regret nothing. All right, yo, you already know. We start Flight down the Arenal with what? None other than a dream sequence. Let's get into it.
Flight down the Arenal. Water dripped in the distance, hollow splashes echoing and re-echoing, losing their source forever. There were stone bridges and railless ramps everywhere, all sprouting off from broad, flat-topped stone spires, all polished and smooth and streaked with red and gold. Level on level, the maze stretched up and down through the murk, without any apparent beginning or end. Every bridge led to a spire, every ramp to another spire, other bridges. Whatever direction Rand looked, as far as his eye could make out in the dimness, it was the same, above as well as below. There was not enough light to see clearly, and he was almost glad of it. Some of those ramps led to platforms that had to be directly above the ones below. He could not see the base of any of them.
I
He
love
pressed,
the as above,
seeking
so
freedom,
below reference
knowing
right
it was
there.
an illusion.
Beautiful.
Everything was illusion. He knew the illusion. He had followed it too many times not to know. However far he went, up or down, or in any direction, there was only the shiny stone. Stone, but the dankness of deep, fresh-turned earth permeated the air, and the sickly sweetness of decay. The smell of a grave opened out of its time. He tried not to breathe, but the smell filled his nostrils. It clung to his skin like oil. A flicker of motion caught his eye, and he froze where he was, half crouched against a polished guard wall around one of the spire tops. It was no hiding place. From 1,000 places a WoTcher could have seen him. Shadow filled the air, but there were no deeper shadows in which to hide. The light did not come from lamps, or lanterns, or torches. It was simply there, such as it was, as if it seeped out of the air. Enough by which to see, after a fashion. Enough by which to be seen. But stillness gave a little protection. The movement came again, and now it was clear. A man striding up a distant ramp, careless of the lack of railings and the drop to nothing below. The man's cloak rippled with his stately haste, and his head turned, searching, searching. The distance was too far for Rand to see more than the shape in the murk, but he did not need to be closer to know the cloak was the red of fresh blood, and the searching eyes blazed like two furnaces. He tried tracing the maze with his eyes to see how many connections Baalzamon needed before reaching him, then gave it up as useless. Distances were deceiving here, another lesson he had learned. What seemed far away might be reached by turning a corner. What appeared close could be out of reach altogether. The only thing to do, as it had been from the beginning, was to keep moving and not think. Thinking was dangerous, he knew. Yet as he turned away from Baalzamon's distant form, he could not help wondering about Matt. Was Matt somewhere in this maze? Or are there two mazes, two Baalzamons? His mind skittered away from that. It was too dreadful to dwell on. Is this like Berlon? Then why can't he find me? That was a little better. A small comfort. Comfort? Blood and ashes, where's the comfort in it? There had been 2 or 3 close brushes, though he could not remember them clearly. But for a long, long time... How long? He had run while Baalzamon vainly pursued. Was this like Berlon? Or was it only a nightmare? Only a dream like other men's dreams? For an instant, then, just for the length of time it took to take a breath, he knew why it was dangerous to think, what it was dangerous to think about. As it had before, every time he allowed himself to think of what surrounded him as a dream, the air shimmered, clouding his eyes. It turned to gel, holding him, just for an instant. The gritty heat prickled his skin, and his throat had long since gone dry as he trotted down the thorn hedge maze. How long had it been now? His sweat evaporated before it had a chance to bead, and his eyes burned. Overhead, and not too far overhead at that, boiled furious, steely clouds streaked with black, but not a breath of air stirred in the maze. For a moment he thought it had been different, but the thought evaporated in the heat. He had been here a long time. It was dangerous to think. He knew that. Smooth stones, pale and rounded, made a sketchy pavement, half buried in the bone-dry dust that rose in puffs at even his lightest step. It tickled his nose, threatening a sneeze that might give him away. When he tried to breathe through his mouth, dust clogged his throat until he choked. This was a dangerous place. He knew that, too. Ahead of him he could see 3 openings in the high wall of thorns, then the way curved out of sight. Baalzamon could be approaching any one of those corners at that very moment. There had been 2 or 3 encounters already, though he could not remember much beyond that they had happened and he had escaped. Somehow. Dangerous to think too much. Panting in the heat, he stopped to examine the maze wall. Thickly woven thorn bushes, brown and dead-looking, with cruel black thorns like inch-long hooks. Too tall to see over, too dense to see through. Gingerly, he touched the wall and gasped. Despite all his care, a thorn pierced his finger, burning like a hot needle. He stumbled back, his heels catching on the stones, shaking his hand and scattering thick drops of blood. The burn began to subside, but his whole hand throbbed. Abruptly, he forgot the pain. His heel had overturned one of the smooth stones, kicked it out of the dry ground. He stared at it. An empty eye socket stared back. A skull. A human skull. He looked along the pathway at all the smooth, pale stones, all exactly alike. He shifted his feet hastily, but he could not move without walking on them, and he could not stay still without standing on them. A stray thought took vague shape, that things might not be what they seemed, but he pushed it down ruthlessly. Thinking was dangerous here. He took a shaky hold on himself. Staying in one place was dangerous too. That was one of the things he knew dimly, but with certainty. The flow of blood from his finger had dwindled to a slow drip, and the throb was almost gone. Sucking his fingertip, he started down the path in the direction he happened to be facing. One way was as good as another in here. Now, he remembered hearing once that you could get out of a maze by always turning in the same direction. At the first opening in the wall of thorns, he turned right, then right again at the next, and found himself face to face with Baalzamon. Surprise flitted across Baalzamon's face, and his blood-red cloak settled as he stopped short. Flames soared in his eyes, but in the heat of the maze, Rand barely felt them. "How long do you think you can evade me, boy? How long do you think you can evade your fate? You are mine." Stumbling back, Rand wondered why he was fumbling at his belt, as if for a sword. "Light, help me," he muttered. "Light, help me." He could not remember what it meant. "The light will not help you, boy, and the eye of the world will not serve you. You are my hound, and if you will not course at my command, I will strangle you with the corpse of the great serpent." Baalzamon stretched out his hand, and suddenly Rand knew a way to escape, a misty, half-formed memory that screamed danger, but nothing to the danger of being touched by the Dark One. "A dream!" Rand shouted. "This is a dream!" Baalzamon's eyes began to widen, in surprise or anger or both. Then the air shimmered, and his features blurred and faded. Rand turned about in one spot, staring at his own image, thrown back at him 1,000-fold, 10,000-fold. Above was blackness, and blackness below, but all around him stood mirrors. Mirrors set at every angle, mirrors as far as he could see, all showing him, crouched and turning, staring, wide-eyed and frightened. A red blur drifted across the mirrors. He spun, trying to catch it, but in every mirror it drifted behind his own image and vanished. Then it was back again, but not as a blur. Baalzamon strode across the mirrors, 10,000 Baalzamons, searching, crossing and recrossing the silvery mirrors. He found himself staring at the reflection of his own face, pale and shivering in the knife-edge cold. Baalzamon's image grew behind his, staring at him, not seeing, but staring still. In every mirror, the flames of Baalzamon's face raged behind him, enveloping, consuming, merging. He wanted to scream, but his throat was frozen. There was only one face in those endless mirrors. His own face. Baalzamon's face. One face. Rand jerked and opened his eyes. Darkness lessened only slightly by a pale light. Barely breathing, he moved nothing except his eyes. A rough wool blanket covered him to his shoulders, and his head was cradled on his arms. He could feel smooth wooden planks under his hands. Deck planks. Rigging creaked in the night. He let out a long breath. He was on the spray. It was over. For another night, at least. Without thinking, he put his finger in his mouth. At the taste of blood, he stopped breathing. Slowly he put his hand close to his face, to where he could see in the dim moonlight, to where he could watch the bead of blood form on his fingertip. Blood from the prick of a thorn. The spray made haste slowly down the Arenelle.
Bruh.
The wind came strong, but from
Honestly,
direction.
crazy and insane. Like, oh my goodness. Like, what the hell is going on? Why does Baalzamon on the, like, bro? Holy shit. Like, there's no, it's not safe. It's not safe. It's not safe. It's time to run. It's time to get out of there. Like, wow. We need to leave. Holy hell. Bruh. And then here we go with Tom coming back, you know. Bro said you call your mama a dark friend if it let you slack, bro. It's crazy. Yep, and then it was about to the crew was about ready to have a freaking mutiny, yo. Tom did his part in diverting the crew from thoughts of mutiny. He told stories with all flourishes every morning and every night, and in between he played any song they requested. To support the notion that Rand and Matt wanted to be apprentice gleemen, he set aside a time each day for lessons, and that was an entertainment for the crew as well. He would not let either of them touch his harp, of course, and their lessons with the flute produced pained winces in the beginning at least, and laughter from the crew, even while they were covering their ears. He taught the boys some of the easier stories, a little simple tumbling, and of course juggling. Matt complained about what Tom demanded of them, but Tom blew out his mustaches and glared right back. Like, what? I don't know how to pretend Teach is crazy. They talk about the metal tower. Let's see. Captain, wait. What can that be? Oh, another time when the eastward shore had become flat grassland, broken only occasioned by thickets, the sun glinted off something in the distance. What can that be? Rand wondered aloud. It looks like metal. Captain Dolman was walking by and he paused, squinting toward the glint. It do be metal, he said. His words still ran together. Oh yeah, that's another thing that had me rolling is that Captain Dolman was like talking crazily. Let me see if I can find a part where Rosamund is actually talking how he talks. There you go.
Rand wondered aloud. It looks like metal. Captain Doman was walking by, and he paused, squinting toward the glint. It do be metal, he said. His words still ran together, but Rand had come to understand without having to puzzle it out. A tower of metal. I have seen it close up, and I know. River traders use it as a marker. We be 10 days from Whitebridge at the rate we go. A metal tower, Rand said, and Matt, sitting cross-legged with his back against a barrel, roused from his brooding to listen. The captain nodded. Aye, shining steel by the look and feel of it, but no a spot of rust. 200 feet high it be, as big around as a house, with no a mark on it, and never an opening to be found. I bet there's treasure inside,
I love the way
Matt
he
said.
talks.
He stood
for
up and
real.
stared toward the far tower as the river carried the spray beyond it. A thing like that must have been made to protect something valuable.
I love the way that I just wasn't ready for it. But, you know, I love the way that we get to see all these other things that are taking place, you know. A freaking giant tower just made of metal. I just love the subtle, like, again, like, there's nothing more I can say. The subtle world building in this is fantastic, and I will continue to appreciate it for the entirety of the rest of this book. Let's see. And then just like that, 4 days pass. 4 days into their trip downriver, Rand atop the mast, sitting on the blunt end with his legs wrapped in the stays. The spray rolled gently on the river, but 50 feet above the water, that easy roll made the top of the mast sway back and forth through wide arcs. He threw back his head and laughed into the wind that blew in his face. The oars were out, and from here the boat looked like some 12-legged spider creeping down the Arnell. He had been as high as this before in trees back in the two rivers, but this time there were no branches to block his view. Everything on deck, the sailors at the sweeps, men on their knees scrubbing the deck with smooth stones, men doing things with lines and hatch covers, looked so odd when from right overhead, all squat and foreshortened, that he had spent an hour just staring at them and chuckling. On sudden impulse, he unwrapped his legs from the strays, bracing the mast, and held his arms and legs out to either side, balancing against the sway. For 3 complete arcs he kept his balance like that. Then suddenly it was gone. Arms and legs windmilling, he toppled forward and grabbed the forestray. Legs splayed together like legs splayed to either side of the mast, nothing holding him to his precarious perch but his 2 hands on the stay. He laughed, gulping huge breaths of air, cold wind. He laughed with the exhilaration of it. "Lad," came Tom's hoarse voice. "Lad, if you're trying to break your full neck, don't be falling on me." Oh, man. He's like, Tom, when did you get up here? When you wouldn't pay attention to people shouting at you. Burn me. Boy, you've got everybody thinking you've gone mad. And everybody's just looking at him like, he's like, oh shit, welp. Oopsie daisy. Everybody's like, what's going on, G? And he doesn't even know anyone is talking to him. That's hilarious. He was literally in his own world. I'm king of the world. Like, he was just tripping. And he's all laughing and stuff. And then he's like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? Like, bro, what?
And like this chapter also let me understand why they did not put it out in the book, in the show, because it's like so much of Tom's journey is part of things that they couldn't really show the same way. You know what I mean? Like so much of Tom being in this journey is part of things that they could not show. There we go. Yeah, I think that's what I meant to say. And it's definitely awesome to see them kind of take this stance with it and kind of explore it. And like I like the way that they explored it in the show, but in the book it's like, wow, we get so much more, and it's so more thought out and thorough, and that's awesome. It is definitely awesome. I'm loving it. Let's see. I think that's about it. They talk about going to Tarvalon and talking to the captain, and yeah. Yeah, so I do believe that is it for chapter 24. And yo, look at that. We're about I think we're literally halfway through the book. I'm not gonna lie. Let me see. Yeah, 50. Well, there's 53 chapters, and we're at 25. So yeah, we're basically halfway through the book. Yo, that's crazy. What? What? How did that happen? Like, how are we halfway through the book already? That's freaking crazy. Oh man, this is awesome. This is awesome. I really like this. I'm happy. We're moving right along. We're having some good. This is freaking dope. Light help you, Randolph Thor, for real. Interesting how panic moments seem to bring up core aspects of the characters, like Matt and Egwene remembering Old Tongue and Rand knowing how to escape in the dream. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's definitely, I've said this before in the show, but it definitely gives me those like quote unquote Avatar type of vibes, to where they're actually definitely tapping into something that's a little bit something that's at the core of them, something that even Moiraine has kind of brought up in the story so far, is they are they are the bloodline of all of these ancient people that stood up and really rocked for something better, and went to like strive to be better and do something greater. And it's just really awesome to be able to see how those type of things take place and what that actually means for each of these characters and who they were in these past lives as well, because it's very obvious that they all have the greater overarching thing going on as well. The Metal Tower and all the things Bail Doman talks about having seen is really great world building, hinting at relics from the Age of Legends. Yeah, and I remember even just that moment from the show when we see those metal towers, and it was instantly like, wait a minute, is this an apocalypse city? Or you know what I mean? And it's like, holy shit, yes, that's exactly what's going on. And it's really dope to see those things kind of occur, for real. Did you recognize Bail Doman from season 2 of the show? Oh, is that the dude that Moiraine talks to? Okay, I remember that. Bail Doman do be speak like a pirate. Yeah, for real, for real. For real, he was definitely talking crazy. And the first time I was like, bro, what? Like, like what? Anytime someone talks like that, I instantly think of the Belters from The Expanse. Is Rand going nuts, or what's up with him going up the mast? Yeah, like, and not knowing that anybody was like talking to him or anything. That's definitely interesting that he wasn't even close to being locked in or tuned in. So I love that bruh's going up there to talk to him, and he's like, hey, I just love that. What are you doing up here? Like, well, when everybody was freaking yelling at you for the last hour and a half, bro, like, I just decided to, strap on the harness and get on up here, bro. Like, I just think that's hilarious. Legit hilarious. On a completely unrelated note, what's up with Rand acting foolish around the White Cloaks in Berlin? He definitely was acting interesting. I think everyone was acting interesting in that moment. But as we know, Rand has like a spidey sense of everything. I won't say more or Mary Sue will ban me, but just something to think about. Yeah, I feel that. She'll definitely come through. Yes, that's the guy Moiraine buys the poem from and Lanfear talks to in Falm. Good old ship captain Bail Doman. Yeah, it sucks that characters like that kind of just got not diminished, but you know the whole role can't be seen because they don't want to spend all the money on the water and they don't have enough time to go through all of that. It's like, bro, this show needs more than 10 episodes, just period, for each season. Like it needs more than 10, 12 episodes, like at the least, I think is where to go, and I think 15 at the max. You know what I mean? Like that's really the type of show that this is. That's how grand this story is. That's how many characters there are. Like you definitely need some time to you know what I mean, like to go through it. It's like I understand they don't want to spend that huge crazy budget, but it's like at the same time, bruv, they kind of need that, like, you know. I mean, even doubling the 8 episodes, like give us 16. I think that even goes a really long way in the long run. Like, I mean, it's just kind of insane, you know? 20 episodes a season, I say. I think 20 episodes is cool. And seasons every year, not 2 years, I know can't be done at the same production value, though. I feel like 20 episodes, look, I feel 16 episodes every 2 years, I feel like that's actually something that is worth it. You know what I mean? Like 20 episodes every 2 years, or 16 episodes every 2 years, or give us 8 episodes a year. Like if that's the case, like it just needs to be something like that. And I understand that it's hard to kind of get ahead of the curve because of all this shit that's been going on. But at some point, you got to start filming 2 seasons at a time. You know what I mean? So you can be ahead of that shit for real. Sometimes you got to just kind of put all those eggs into one basket and hope and pray that it kind of works out for the best. And I feel like they knew they had something on their hands from the jump. That's why they created it. So it seems like they should have took a little more leap of faith. I think that's a big thing that's going on with these companies is they're not taking big enough leaps of faith when it comes to these huge properties that they're purchasing. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna retain the rights for this 14 book epic that's going on, but I'm not gonna really do too much about I'm not gonna go in too deep. I'm not gonna even in this 14 book epic, I'm not going to put out 14 episodes per season. Like, it's just kind of insane. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of insane a little bit. But at the same time, I guess you got to deal with what you got or use what you got. And I think they have been using what they got in a swell way. And I'm excited to see what the rest of it can do. For real. I think they're cutting too much out of the core from necessity due to not enough time in a season. Yeah, for real. And those writers are going overtime. They're definitely going overtime with all that stuff over there, trying to condense stuff. It's super hard to condense. We know you have the money, Amazon. Pay up. And I mean, I understand, though, at the same time, because, yes, they do have the money, but look at all the projects they're putting out at one time. Like, The Boys, Gen V, they just did the Lord of the Rings thing. They're probably going to do another season of Lord of the Rings. I can't remember if that Lord of the Rings animated movie is Amazon as well or not. But, they have a lot of different things going on. So they're probably trying to use the money well and correctly. But at the same time, it's like, damn, son, give us a little more. But with all that being said, I definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in on today's episode of From Watcher to Reader, episode 4, continuing our series of The Eye of the World reading. It's been awesome so far, and I am super happy to continue going. We are technically right now at the halfway mark. We now have 5 more weeks to go until we're done with the book. 5 more episodes, 9 episodes in total, if I'm not mistaken. Our next segment that we will be reading is chapters 25 to 31. So next Wednesday, we will be covering chapters 25 to 31 of The Wheel of Time, The Eye of the World. I'm super excited to continue on this journey and super excited to, continue nerding out and having all this fun with you and talking about all these amazing stories and different things. And it's been a freaking awesome time tonight. I'm not going to lie. We breezed through some of those chapters a little bit quicker because I do know it's getting late. I do want to kind of keep some of these under 4 hours, and I think we barely did that this time around. But, at the very least, it's been a vibe still. I love these. I love it, and I can't wait to cover the next couple of chapters. I think we have like 6 chapters in the next segment. So I'm really here. I'm really here for everything that we're going to be getting into going into next week. Week 5, chapters 25 through 31. And, like I said, Baby Sensei should be here. By then, we should have Baby Sensei here and dancing and here to, bask in the glory that is book club. I'm excited to, see you guys then. I hope everyone has a good rest of your night. I appreciate everyone that has stayed up with me tonight. And yeah, bro, we're gonna be getting into it. A lot more content is coming out. If we do a Superfam Friday, it will be earlier this week because I have to move tryouts for Vane Esports up. I gotta move it up a day because, like I said earlier, Rumi's gonna be getting induced on Saturday. So I got to make sure that on Friday, on Friday we can get a lot of that stuff out the way. So on Saturday we can keep it pushing, rocking, rolling, and molding. But with all that being said, I definitely appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. As I have already said, definitely drop a like on the stream because it helps out with all the things that we're trying to do around these parts. Please go and check out the YouTube channel for my book series that I am working on actively. Like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of world building and different things like that over there. So definitely go check it out. Drop a sub, like the video. We're going to have a lot more things going on and crack-a-lacking for the rest of the year. And you guys are awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on social media at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with all things Marvel and everything pop culture. You can follow me on social media at Sensei Finito to stay up to date with all my thoughts, theories, and opinions on whatever particular thing that we may be partaking in at that particular time. And you already know I said about it all the time, the weekly podcast is going to be out on whatever you look at your podcast at. I'm going to be trying to go real hard 2024, get all these forms of content coming out for all of you guys as much as possible. You guys rock socks for sure. I appreciate y'all. And then once again, as I always say, stay awesome, stay nerdy, and don't forget to stay marvelous. Sleep well and wake.
If you guys would like to support Marvel Bros, all you gotta do is visit our website at www.marvelbros.com and buy some merch. Represent Superfan.
Or you can join our Patreon to get early access to content, patron-only streams, giveaways, private Q&As, and those sacred watch parties.
We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Excelsior.
On today's pop culture news update,